Good evening and happy opening weekend to high school football across the Buckeye State. We at the Lorain County Sports Network are ecstatic for year 3 of covering high school football in Lorain County here on YouTube as we bring you our Legacy Home Finance Game of the Week, your local, reliable, trusted lender. As tonight, we bring you North Ridgeville hosting North Olmsted, with each team looking to build on their playoff appearances a season ago. And before we get into the matchup and some of the details behind it and what to expect, we're going to hear from both of the coaches in our Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner today and tomorrow, your partner for growth. First up, we're going to hear from the Eagles head coach, Tim Brediger, as we'll throw it to him and be right back after this. Welcome into the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner here on the Lorain County Sports Network ahead of our matchup of the North Ridgeville Rangers versus North Olmsted. Joining us now in the Buckeye Community Bank Coaches Corner today and tomorrow, your partner for growth, is none other than North Olmsted head coach Tim Brediger. Coach, thanks for talking with us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, and I just kind of want to jump in by looking at last season a little bit. Your team had a nice bounce-back season, especially down the stretch in conference play. What kind of core differences did you see from your team and program during that time? Maybe X's and O's aside, just what habits and philosophies can be carried over to this season?
The biggest thing from last year is our kids, they didn't quit. We played a tough preseason schedule and had some injuries, and we kind of hit a rhythm week 5, on into our conference, and the kids just kept fighting, and, we found what worked. And we had a new offense that we were using as well, so it took a few weeks for, even the coaches really to learn how to make adjustments and learn how to attack things and also learn our personnel in a new system. So now going into this year, it's the second year, and, we use this system middle school up. So our freshmen and sophomores have been using it. They're more confident. We're able to do a couple more things out of it, that would be a little – last year we didn't get to till middle of the year maybe. So, we're ahead that way. But really, we're such a young team. We have 9 seniors. So, a lot of the kids that are going to be playing were on the team, but they weren't really Friday night guys, So
sure.
You can draw some parallels, but really it's a whole new crop of faces other than maybe about 7 kids.
So in that, you touched on the number of playmakers and players that handled the ball, especially moving on or graduating last season. What have practices been like trying to find some new guys to step up this fall, including at the quarterback position? Obviously, you had a very good player for a couple seasons there in Tommy Horsfall.
Yeah, obviously, you rely upon your quarterback, and you got to put him in good situations, and Tommy finished the year very well for us. Will McPherson is our starting quarterback now. He's a junior. A little different than Tommy. He's a little shorter athlete, but he's just as quick, just as explosive when he gets the ball in his hands. So that's something exciting to work with. And he's doing a good job starting to learn how to lead and command our offense a little bit. He was a JV player for us last year. Then he had an injury and he missed a couple of games, but he's a varsity type of athlete. It just happened he was behind a better player last year, so he's excited to get his chance to be the guy this year. And just trying to find ways to make him successful and what are the things he does well compared to Tommy last year, and that's the challenge all spring and summer, put him in situations he can be successful in. And, he's starting to do a good job of that.
Well, and then looking over on the defensive side of the ball, obviously you mentioned you guys are young as a whole, but it seems like if there is an experience point on this team, it might be on that side of the ball. You bring back at least one player at every level of the defense. What are your expectations for them, not only tonight, but for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, throughout our first two scrimmages, that group has shined a little bit better than our offense. We have a couple D linemen, Tanner Perry, Tanner Thorne, that are returning, and then Javion Pierce, who was a two-way guy for us. So I feel pretty good about our front. We have Luca LaRue, a linebacker, that's returning, and then we have Lawrence Stanley in the secondary that's returning. So there is a little bit more experience there, and even some of the backups last year that did play a little bit knew the system pretty well last year, and they got good reps, meaningful reps. So even though they weren't necessarily starters last year, they got some meaningful time. So I think our defense might be a little bit ahead of where we are. And in our scrimmages, they've done some nice stuff. And we scrimmaged Madison and Royalton, which were two tough physical teams. And by design, we want to do that because we start off with Ridgeville, who is is really good, has a lot of good numbers, coached very well, but they're a very physical team. And then we get into Midview, another physical team, and then Amherst. Their program has turned around a lot the last couple of years, and they're a tough physical team as well. So we wanted to make sure we had two meaningful scrimmages with big physical teams.
Yeah, you touched on a lot there, the Southwestern Conference opponents, and it definitely goes a long way in making sure you're ready for conference, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
So to focus a bit on tonight's matchup with the Rangers, you guys have seen them for quite a few years in a row now. Sometimes it can be tough to watch film from a season ago when you're at the beginning of a season, but with their signal caller and their top rusher coming back, does that make it easier to prepare knowing what they're capable of, or do you still kind of have to move on from that film from last year?
That one last year is hard to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a bad one. But we learned a lot from it. Now, the ironic thing this year is they have a whole new offense and a whole new defense. Same quarterback, same really good running back, but they have a whole different flavor on offense. And it still runs some of their concepts with it, but they're more spread now. And defensively, they switched into a 4-3 look, which is different from their stack they ran last year. So, it's really the film that we looked at all spring and summer, other than a couple concepts, really is not going to help us much because they're totally different. So,
well, Coach, we appreciate your time ahead of the game and all of your insight that you were able to give us. So we appreciate that, and best of luck this evening.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your coverage for our kids. Thank you very much.
That was North Olmsted head coach Tim Brediger here in the Buckeye Community Bank Coach's Corner today and tomorrow, your partner for growth. We'll be back shortly after these messages on the Lorain County Sports Network. Good evening and welcome into the Buckeye Community Bank Coach's Corner. And joining us tonight ahead of the matchup is North Ridgeville head coach Brian Morgan. Coach, we know it's a busy week getting back to classes and school for everybody, so we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and thanks for covering the game, and it's always good to talk to WOBL.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to do so. And just to kind of start from a wider scope, the Rangers program has been built up very consistently during your time there as the football coach. What has been the driving force to seeing that increased success year over year in a sport that sometimes doesn't allow for linear progress like that?
Yeah, when we took over, we wanted to make sure kids were having fun. We were trying to get numbers up. My first year, we had a great senior class of boys that knew that they were going to not be successful in year one, but they had pride in the fact that they wanted to turn things around. And a perfect storm was a freshman class of really talented players that you guys got to see on the field last year, seniors who got to see how it was supposed to be done and how the hard work pays off on Friday nights. And we've been able to keep numbers up. We've been able to sort of increase expectations and sort of fine-tune things every year. And, we're hoping that since that class graduated, that these younger guys really saw what it took to be successful on the field.
Yeah, and you mentioned directly right there that class from last season and coming off of 9 wins. And then, of course, that leads to some turnover into the next year, specifically offensive line and linebacker. I know you lost a few starters there, but your defensive line is very experienced, and then you have one of the top running backs in the county. I'm curious what practice has looked like to you and your staff with that dynamic and some new guys being put into the lineup, but also they're going against experienced guys in fall camp.
Yeah, it's the first couple of days of camp. I wasn't sure we were going to be able to run a play with our new offensive line and going against that experienced defensive line. And what we kept trying to feed to those young guys, the new guys on the offensive line, was you're going against some of the best guys in the conference every single day in practice. Just to stay the course, you will get better every day because of this. And what we've seen is progress, from the first time that we started all the way up until, tonight in game 1. So it's been great to see that work and, plugging in some of those new guys on the defense. Ryan Anderson is not a new guy to Friday nights, but he's a new guy to the defense at our Will linebacker. And, the best part about teams like this, that the guys don't have a ton of experience and they're young, is that they're going to get better every single week. So we know that, every single week, if we can stay healthy and we can keep that work ethic up, that our team will get better all throughout the season.
And I imagine the best part of that competitive nature you've kind of alluded to, seeing guys do it the right way. I'll bet they haven't taken it easy on each other just because there's a couple new guys.
Oh, no. There's a lot of people that know our defensive coordinator, Drew Foyt, a guy who's all intensity. He is the guy that's going to make sure that those guys never take a play off. So, it's one of those things where even this week, they were getting after us in practice, and we kept telling them, the bolts are flying. This is the time of this is just like on a Friday night. If we're not performing well, if the crowd is on you, you have to make sure that you just keep performing. And, that competition breeds success. And, that's what we've been looking for. And I think that's what North Ridgeville was missing when I took over. And, we're really happy with the way our guys practice.
And I'm sure kind of leading the pack on that, you've got a pair of guys in the backfield that are very experienced and at the quarterback spot specifically. I mean, I'm sure you're not exactly telling him this, but he's probably one of, if not the top quarterback coming back in the county this year. What does that do for you guys for play calling, game planning, and just from a leadership point of view?
Yeah, I mean, Cole is a great person, comes from a great family. He started as a sophomore for us and did a great job of leading that team to 8 wins, and then he had the success last year, of course, with the pretty talented group. So he spent this entire offseason working on his body. He's now 6'5". He's 230 pounds. Just broke the lifting record for North Ridgeville football with 285 pounds, which is great from a quarterback. And, I think that he's primed to have a very successful year. He's worked on his throwing motion and athleticism. So he'll be a dual threat guy, and, his leadership ability has gotten better. He doesn't rely on those seniors that graduated last year to keep the tempo going in practice and demanding, high quality reps in practice with our linemen. And, he's doing a great job of leading us.
Well, and his running mate and another guy that offensive line will be blocking for, Zach Barnhart. I'm sure you've answered a lot of questions about him here in the offseason, but I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't bring him up. Everybody sees the box scores on Saturday morning in the paper, but what are some things that he just brings behind closed doors and to that program that really helped you guys out?
It's a quiet confidence you get from Zach. He's not going to run his mouth. He doesn't get flustered. If a play gets blown up and he gets hit in the backfield, he doesn't get frustrated. his freshman year, we were going against Valley Forge, and 4th and 4, we called a play, put the ball in his hands, and before we went out on the field to execute it, he said, guys, I'm going to get you this 4 yards. And for a freshman to say that to a bunch of upperclassmen, we knew that we had a special guy in our hands and a special leader. So, like I said, he's quiet. He's not a guy that's going to, hoot and holler and things like that. But, you could see his confidence, and you could see, how good he is. He demands that expertise from the guys on the offense.
Well, we're really excited to see him and some of those other guys that you mentioned. Just to kind of look at the other side of the matchup, I know North Olmsted, they graduate a bit as well, but for them it's kind of flipped in their skill positions. What's it been like trying to prepare for Brediger and his team over there?
Tim's a great coach. You don't stay in that position he's been in for a long time if you don't do it the right way. And, he's fallen on some tough times in the last couple of years, but you can see every year, after first 3 weeks, they get better and they can compete in their conference. And, we're expecting a team that's going to come out prepared, a team that's going to, try to win battles in the trenches. We saw it in their film against North Royalton, and their preview is that they've got some guys up front that can move some people. And, if we don't play a good football game, they have the ability to upset us. And, we've been preaching it. The big thing for us this week has been discipline. We said, if you guys aren't disciplined in your reps, if you're not disciplined in your assignments, you're going to let a team come in and beat you when you're a favored team. So I said, we just got to keep on grinding because we know that Tim's going to give us everything they've got.
Well, we can't wait to see how it shakes out this evening. Coach, once again, thank you for your time, and best of luck.
Thanks a lot. Like I said, thanks for coming out and watching us play.
It's always our pleasure to do so. Thanks again, Coach. That was head coach Brian Morgan of North Ridgeville giving us some insight ahead of the matchup with North Olmsted. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back to Rangers Stadium here in North Ridgeville. A big thank you to both of the coaches as we got to hear some insight and some of the tips for the game tonight between North Ridgeville and North Olmsted. I am Max Drummond here with you on the Lorain County Sports Network as we are live here in the Green Path CPA Solutions broadcast booth. And big shout out to all of our crew with us tonight. Edwin Vereen running the show on the stream itself. Sam Sovacool on the camera, and joining me very shortly here, my partner in the booth tonight, Paul Williams, as we are going to bring you North Ridgeville, North Olmsted. As you see the Rangers take their sideline here, and as we progress through this Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show, shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV in Elyria. I'm going to bring in my partner on the night, Paul, as we break down this matchup. Paul, great to have you out here this evening.
Hey, great to be here, man. I can't believe it's already week 1 of high school football season, but we're here, and I'm ready to have a good time, and we got a good matchup to look forward to.
That's exactly right. As these teams, it's a mainstay playing each other to open the season, and despite that, there's a bit of differences that you'll see on the field, but there's also some consistency, some similar names from last season, and I'll throw it back to you, Paul, as we break down some of the important topics of this game this evening.
Yeah, well, for both teams, their D-line are strong points. They're going to have to show up. On the North Olmsted side, they're going to have a lot of young guys stepping into new roles. They didn't play last year, so look for them to maybe have a little jitters early, but maybe they could step into that role and be ready to go. For North Ridgeville, they've been a consistent, very well-ran team now for a few years, so I expect another solid offense from them. They're bringing back a lot of players that they had last year, which was a very successful team. So I'm looking at both teams to perform well, but I'm excited to see North Ridgeville after their run last year.
Yeah, and we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, both teams coming off of playoff appearances. So those keys to the game to see if they can get back to that point, brought to you by Williams Brothers Builders, performing site work, concrete, carpentry with our own forces. So big thank you to them for bringing us those keys to the game. Kickoff right around the corner here, as that's being presented by LCCC. Kick off your future with Lorain County Community College, and that's due to North Olmsted winning the Lorain County Visitors Bureau coin toss tonight, and they elected to defer, so they want that defense out there to take on this potent North Ridgeville offense. And you talked about the defensive line being quite a strength, and that's going to be important to slow down one Mr. Zach Barnhart.
I mean, I think anyone that follows high school football in the area knows that name, and North Olmsted definitely knows that name. So while he is a challenge, I do kind of expect Olmsted to throw everything they can to try to slow down not just him, but their running game, which is always a solid piece to their offense.
That it is. And while we were away in the coaches' corners, we heard our national anthem here. A big thank you to the U.S. Air Force. I feel like that's just a perfect fit to present that. And we're getting ready to go here as the ball is on the tee just about. And it's going to be, like we mentioned, North Olmsted kicking off. And that's going to be courtesy of the Eagles' Zach Hogg, as he will line up now. Everybody's in place back deep to return for Ridgeville. It's the 14 of Dylan DeShazo, along with a few other Rangers. He'll go to the deep man as he takes it at around the 10, and he's going to cut through a couple Olmsted Eagles there, and that's going to be barreling ahead for the Rangers. Carter Clark.
Yeah, and guess who that was? Zach Barnett. He's not wasting any time.
So now the Rangers offense will take the field, and we'll get you a quick look at the starting lineups for them, brought to you by Garing's Tavern in Grafton. Looking up front on the offensive line for North Ridgeville, Gavin Knepp at left tackle, Steven Spears Jr. at left guard, Jason Ellison at the center spot, Logan Laska holding down right guard, Noah Cassetto over on the right side of that offensive line, Cole Miller, the experienced senior quarterback, will be manning the offense, and then a couple receivers include Cole Allison, Eric Lengauer, and Dylan DeShazo, and of course Zach Barnhart, the running back out there. He's been starting since he was a freshman. So now they're going 5 wide here, as Miller will drop back. He sees some pressure right away, has to scramble out of it, and we knew coming in that his feet were going to be a threat this year. Lowered the shoulder, but the officials are going to say he stepped out, Paul.
He stepped out, but still, what a impact run to start the game, and that just shows the type of offense that they have with a dual-threat quarterback.
And he's going to flip the field already as they go from their own 41 to the opposite 41, picking up a nice 18-yard gain for Miller. And, yeah, that was quite the burst out of the backfield there, as it looked like he was in trouble early.
Man, I just don't know how you prepare for that at quarterback and then the running game that they have behind them. That's a tough task.
Yeah, and so far Barnhart's been out in the slot to the boundary side, and now he will come back to the backfield along with DeShazo as they each flank Miller. This time they're going to hand off to Barnhart as he barrels forward up the middle inside the 35. So a nice pickup there on first down.
And that's just really Barnhart showing, yeah, he likes to get outside and use space, but he can also get the ball up the middle and gain some good yards there. I think he might have got 6, which is a good first down run.
And, you know, we discussed the experience in the backfield there, but up front they've got a lot of new faces, a lot of new guys, and so far right there on that play they opened up some lanes. This time he finds another crease, and he's going to plunge ahead, and that's going to be another first down pickup of around 5 as they're on the move here.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be quick and big. Moving the ball down the field and getting first downs is just fine, and North Ridgeville's off to a great start.
And they're also putting a lot of stress on North Olmsted right now. It's not the quickest tempo, but they're not huddling either.
And you can already kind of see the young guys on the other side of the ball on North Olmsted's defense trying to get used to this speed.
And the Friday Night Lights, man, they're a different beast.
It really is.
Here we'll see a motion from DeShazo. He gets away from one tackler, tries to get through a couple more, but he's going to be brought down that time by, it looks like, Carmelo Fuentes, the 5'9" junior on defenses. We'll get you those North Olmsted starters here shortly.
Yeah, and if they can get penetration like that, they can really flip the game and give themselves a chance.
So that's going to be officially a loss of 1 here for the Rangers, as that's their first negative play of the evening. And now, as a result, we'll see Barnhart in the pistol behind Miller.
And
he'll drop back to pass, stepping up immediately, but he keeps the eyes downfield. He's got a man. It's Allison trying to bring in a one-handed catch, but that'll fall incomplete, Paul.
And the first throw of the season was an exciting one. He almost had a shot at it, but it was a good defensive play at the end of the day.
And Cole Allison, man, he's got some big shoes to fill, as Charlie Steinmetz moved on last season. He was their do-it-all athlete. And Allison, they said he was the backup for him last year, didn't get many chances because, well, Steinmetz was that good.
And that just kind of happens sometimes. You can't control who's in front of you, but it does happen.
And now he has the chance to step up here in his junior season. Miller rolling right this time, and his receiver falls down. Whew, that was a close one.
Honestly, that was a lucky play for Ridgeville. Easily could have been intercepted going the other way.
And it looks like that's Amir Silmi on the defensive side there. So to give you more of a look at that North Olmsted defense, we'll start up front. Number 2, Tanner Thorne, Tanner Perry, and Javion Pierce will make up that defensive line. We've also got Luca LaRue, Cody Jack, and Carmelo Fuentes in the middle at the linebacker spots. And then in their secondary, where they like to play with around 5 guys back there, Lawrence Stanley, Amir Silmi, DJ Jeffries, Colin Scott, as well as Cody Jack and Cohen Beasley, excuse me. So now 4th and 11. They're going to go for it. Miller's pressured. He's being chased, but he's going to get away, and he's going to truck his way ahead. And it looks like he's going to be right at that first down marker.
That is close, but, yeah, it does look like he got it. Gutsy play call and gutsy run again by Miller, showing a lot with his legs early on.
And there's only so much Javion Pierce can do to set the edge when, you've got a quarterback that fast. He stands at 6'5", so you know those strides that are tough to keep up with.
And he will throw the ball, which presents another problem.
So now it'll be 1st down and 10 at the 15-yard line. It's time for Barnhart again, and he'll dive ahead, but we are going to have a flag down on the play there. As we hit just above the 10-minute mark, so they are moving pretty quick down the field here. I think a few of those incompletions are helping keep the clock at bay for North Olmsted right now.
Yeah, you mentioned their pace a little bit, and they're playing at an interesting one right now. Not super fast, but they are sped up.
And that one, the officials are going to give a holding there on the Rangers. And speaking of the officials, let's bring you who is out there this evening, as we have our 5-man crew consisting of Charles Algier, Mario Almagano, Darren Picard, Wayne McPherson, Matt O'Donnell, and Mike Wardwick. As that is brought to you by Stringer, and Gager. And right there, it looks like Miller will keep it, and he'll get some yards back. Found a pickup of 4 that time, as it's going to be a little bit more manageable now on 2nd down. So as you can see, the Ranger faithful, you may not be able to see it on your cam here, as it's focused on the game a lot tonight, but they have showed out for opening weekend.
Another flag.
So it looks like a sideline warning going to go against North Olmsted there.
Hey, first game of the season, everyone's excited and pumped up.
You got that right, as we are expecting a pretty good turnout as North Olmsted fans continue to show up and fill out that opposing side. So there's a decent chance you'll see that as the game goes on when you get those wide views of the field. So DeShazo will come across the formation on 2nd and 12, and that's our 3rd penalty in a row. 3 out of 4 plays, I should say.
Started clean, and now not so much.
So it will be on North Olmsted. So right now they're not able to take advantage of a gift of getting North Ridgeville behind the chains.
And with the type of offense Ridgeville has, you cannot give them extra yards, especially when they're already on your side of the field.
And they use the hard count there. And they will avoid the penalty that time, so we will likely have a play here as we get down to just above 9 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Here comes Allison in motion. He'll be a lead blocker for Barnhart. He's going to spin off 1 tackle, fight his way down, and it looks like they're going to give him a 1st down inside the 5. As he picks up around 8 on that one. And they're being very balanced, or at least they're attempting to be very balanced, calling a few pass plays, but obviously Barnhart's the focus.
And they're spreading it around. Miller's getting out there with the ball. Barnhart, I'm really liking what I see so far.
Makes that defense for North Olmsted have to manage a lot, and he's just going to use the speed. Outside, touchdown, Zach Barnhart, as that's our first score of the season, at least on our side of the Lorain County Sports Network. And the Rangers go right down the field on their opening drive and finish it off with a touchdown.
And how surgical was that drive? They had a few incompletions and 1 run that didn't gain yards. Besides that, they really played with efficiency and just He drove it right down the field.
And for the North Ridgeville coaching staff, that's got to be a huge sigh of relief. That offensive line gets through without really any major mistakes, and they get to settle in and get a touchdown on the board. So now heading out to kick the point after is going to be Finley Keller, as he is a returning starter for them at kicker, and he nails it right through the uprights, and that'll make it 7-0 North Ridgeville here with 8:41 to go in the opening quarter, as we will step aside, and when we come back, we'll see the kickoff in North Olmsted on offense here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here on the Lorain County Sports Network as we have our first touchdown of the season here for our stream, and it was a 2-yard score by Zach Barnhart as we bring you our Valley Chevrolet drive of the game. 9 plays, 59 yards, and it took 3 minutes and 10 seconds to get it done. And who knows, that could contend for our drive of the game, but we'll have to wait and see. And that one's going to go through the hands of the North Olmsted player, as that's going to be Amir Silmi. Fresh off of playing defense, he gets it back, but they're not going to have as good a field position as North Ridgeville did.
I mean, especially after giving up that type of drive and score right away. It's not the type of return you want, and North Olmsted, I mean, they're not set up very well, but let's see what they can do.
So taking the field for North Olmsted, led by first-year starting quarterback Will McPherson, a junior, and then up front, to give you a look at their starting lineup, Javion Pierce at left tackle, Mitch Jones manning the left guard spot, Carmelo Fuentes at center, Kyle Allen at right guard, Ryan Searcy at right tackle, and Cody Jack will be the lead running back here as they line up in the wing formation. It looks like we have a fumble. The officials are marking it's out. Ridgeville players think they have it, and they come up with it. That looks like it's going to be the 5 of Brian Strippy, and a nightmare start here for the Eagles on both defense and now offense.
And not only to turn the ball over, but to turn it over where they just did. We just talked about not very well kickoff return. Now it's really paying back in spades, giving the ball to North Ridgeville at about the 22, 23-yard line.
As they are right outside of that Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services red zone. And, well, we'll get you the starting lineups for the other sides when we see North Olmsted with the ball again. Right now, we're switching gears as the Rangers will set up shop here in the pistol. Miller claps his hands as he's going to pull from the gut of Barnhart and trying to get away. He's maybe going to get back to the line of scrimmage as they try to go with the read option, but good job by North Olmsted covering up both.
And North Olmsted, I mean, they've shown some signs so far on defense that they can get some penetration. They're just not able to consistently keep the ball runners in front of them, and their back's against the wall again early on.
And it's going to test and provide a lot of adversity for some young players over there. And, it's not an ideal spot, but if you're Coach Tim Brediker, you can see how your guys will respond here very early on in the season. So here comes DeShazo as he'll get it around the edge. Barnhart lead blocking for him, and a nice wrap-up tackle that time by Tanner Thorne, as he was one of the top tacklers on this Eagles defense last year with 72. So he'll be looking to replicate that kind of campaign here in his senior season.
They just, I mean, there's so many options and skilled players on that North Ridgeville side of the ball. It's got to be a nightmare for that defense.
It certainly is, as they do have a chance here at 3rd and 8. And we're going to get a delay a game, I believe, or maybe a sideline warning, something along those lines. Sideline warning. So each team has been given one warning here.
That week one excitement's getting to them.
And it's tough to tell if they were talking to a coach or maybe some players, but now the Ridgeville sideline will back up. And we'll start again here. 3rd and 8. Miller rolling right. He's going to fit one in that time. Flag comes in, but if the play stands, we'll have a first down.
It'll be the first completion of the game.
And Duke Baker was on the receiving end of it, but it looks like it will come back. And they'll have to try again on 3rd and even longer now.
And, I mean, that was a risky pass by Miller. He really squeezed it in there. Impressive, but all for naught. Another penalty. I think that's the 6th penalty in the last 10 total plays.
That's right. They are stacking up on both sides. And these are a pair of programs that pride themselves on discipline. I mean, Tim Brediger, he has been on the sidelines for North Olmsted for 27 years, 13 as the head coach. So you know he does not like to see the sloppy play so far. And same for Morgan, who expects a lot out of these guys.
They'll hear about it at halftime, no matter what. They'll hear about it.
And they'll feel it next week when they're doing their conditioning for it, right?
Yes, yes.
So now 3rd and 13, we'll call it. 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And they'll be a little conservative here. Give it to Barnhart, and he's going to rush his way forward and get around half of it back. So not sure if they were trying to set up for maybe field positioning for a field goal, but now you give yourself a chance to go for it.
You do, and when you have a dynamic player like Barnhart in the backfield, you can take those chances sometimes because they can pay off. He put them in a good position right now, and I think they are going to go for it.
And we saw them go for it on their first drive, and it turned into a Cole Miller scramble here on the close sideline for a first down. We'll see if they go back to him.
I mean, to me, that might have been the biggest play of that last drive. He really kept it alive with that play.
And he did. So now maybe some confusion as they go with the muddle huddle. Oh, and the officials want the clock to run. So 6:30 and counting here on first quarter clock. As Ridgeville looks to extend their 7-0 lead.
It's a big moment for Olmsted early on.
And we've seen the hard count a couple times. Miller tries to get him unsuccessfully. He pumps, he throws. And coming back to it was Eric Lengauer, but he was not able to come down with it. Turnover on downs, and North Olmsted will get the ball back.
That is a huge stop right there for the North Olmsted defense. I mean, the confidence level must have just went through the roof after giving up that long drive to start the game. What a stand by North Olmsted's defense.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, the way we were talking after the fumble, and I'm sure a lot of Rangers fans saw, that's a guaranteed score this close.
I mean, I was thinking 14-0, 7 minutes into the game is rough, but now Olmsted's right back.
So they respond, and Brediger will send his, Coach Bredinger will send his offense back out as we'll continue to get you the rest of that lineup here as we look at DJ Jeffries at the receiver spot, a senior, as well as Lawrence Stanley wearing number 4. And Luca LaRue at the wingback spot closest to you on your screen. They're going to hand off this time. It'll go to Cody Jack around the right side, but he is swallowed up immediately. And we talked about him all pregame, that defensive line. They really stuffed that play, Paul.
Yeah, they did, and I think we'll be seeing a lot of that tonight and the rest of the season. That's one of their big strengths.
So now they'll come out 2nd down and around 7, so they give them a favorable 3 yards that time.
Got to start somewhere.
Exactly. After how last drive went, that's a very positive play. Looking a little more at that Ridgeville defense, we'll get you the defensive line right now. Braden Laszlo, number 99. Christian Ensley, wearing 95. Hamza Fumawi at 90. And Ashton Cassetto, wearing number 73. He's got the long hair. You'll see him close to you right now. And right now, North Olmsted just seeing a lot of bodies attacking that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, I get it running up the middle. That's just a traditional way to start a drive, but for this defensive line, it's going to be tough if they're expecting to rely on that.
So now running through the rest of that Rangers defense in the middle at the linebacking core, Jack Andrus, number 22, a first-year starter. Nolan Gill, the only returning linebacker, wearing number 25. And Ryan Anderson, who makes the switch from offense to defense. We'll talk about that more later, number 17. And then the secondary, very experienced, Perry Dixon at one corner spot, Luke Morose at the other. And Brian Strippy and Carter Clark are your pair of safeties as Strippy recovered the fumble on that opening drive for North Olmsted.
Another one.
And looks like the officials are discussing with the interior of the offensive line. And, you know, this is somewhat a common trend you see year to year. guys possibly lining up too far back in their stances, and maybe they don't have enough guys on the line of scrimmage. It's the only thing I can imagine that being right there.
Yeah, and it's got to be frustrating for the coaches. But, I mean, it is week one in the first quarter. It is something that can be cleaned up. So, hopefully, as the game goes on, we see these guys clean up the penalty issues.
So now it makes it a 3rd and 9, and Will McPherson making his first start on Friday night's number 5. He's going to sling it out to the left to Stanley. He's a great playmaker. Started at receiver last year, but he is stocked up on that one, and I don't even know if he got back to the line of scrimmage there.
It really feels like every offensive play that Olmsted does, no matter where the ball ends up, there's 6 or 7 Rangers there ready for it.
And they are swarming, and that's something that Coach Brian Morgan talked about in the pregame, is that during camp, he knew that the offensive line was being broken in. They had a couple new guys on offense. The defensive coordinator for the Rangers did not take it easy on them whatsoever, and that's exactly why, because iron sharpens iron, and right now North Olmsted doesn't have an answer.
These are the nights that you do all that work for.
So now we'll see the punting unit come out for North Olmsted. McPherson will do the punting as well, and that'll go off the side of his foot, so that's going to go out close to the 30. We'll see where that official marks it down. So with 3:39 to go here in the opening quarter, North Ridgeville will get a second opportunity in Eagle territory. And the Ranger crowd loves to hear and see that.
I'll tell you what, you keep giving an offense like this, that type of field position, eventually you will pay for it.
So now Miller and the troops will come back out on offense. And they'll set up right at their 30 along the left hash here. So now we'll see a formation I'm not sure we've seen yet, with a wing or almost an H-back to the right with Cole Allison, as he'll get it on an end around. Great blocks by the left side of that O-line, and he's going to follow his blockers all the way down the field. Finally pushed out by Cohen Beasley, but not before another Rangers first down.
I mean, and the movement and the moves to get through a bevy of North Olmsted defenders was very impressive. What a run to get this drive going.
Absolutely, and you know, maybe you just get back to that. Let your offensive line lean on them here. You got guys like Barnhart right now. Allison showing what he can do with the ball in his hands.
It's tough to expect North Olmsted to stop that.
So here we go. We'll have 2 in the backfield with Miller. And this time Barnhart will get it. Makes a couple cuts, spins. And he's dragging defenders with him. My goodness. I mean, I would ask if North Ridgeville fans get tired of seeing that, because it's his 4th year in a row, but there's no chance. They love that.
At all, and he makes it look so easy, and a lot of times guys spin for no reason. He spun and got something extra out of that spin. That move mattered. What a play by Barnhart.
That's right. It's very purposeful, as they'll give him a gain of 12 there. So his rushing stats already moving up here in the first half. We're under 3 minutes to go. We'll change it up now. Nobody in the backfield directly with Miller. Barnhart comes across. He'll block. Miller doesn't even need it as he just finds the pylon, sprints in for the 4-yard touchdown. And that time, they didn't even attempt to get cute with it, go to the air. They just said, we're pounding it. We'll see if you could stop it. North Olmsted did not have an answer there. And it's 13-0.
Yeah, North Ridgeville, they went back to what they know works for them, and it worked for them.
So now Finley Keller will return to the field here as he sets up for his second PAT attempt.
And it's tough to put too much on the North Olmsted defense. With the positions they're getting put in, tough to stop an offense like this.
That one's going to be up. It's a little lower that time, as Lawrence Stanley tried to come around the edge and block it, but he was unsuccessful, and the kick was successful. So we're 14-0 North Ridgeville here on the Lorain County Sports Network. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Rangers up 14-0 here on the Lorain County Sports Network as we are bringing you our opening weekend of coverage. And tonight, as a whole, we're in 4 stadiums, well, 5 as well. We are bringing you live play-by-play of 4 games, 2 on radio, 2 here on YouTube, as it's our 3rd season here on the Lorain County Sports Network, and we're just happy to keep bringing you your hometown teams. Right now, there's 2 guys fighting over the kickoff, and that one's going to be picked up right away. And he's going to stumble down, but Nolan Gill, starting linebacker, out of a cannon down there to get it, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a gift. It kind of just found him. The ball found him, and again, North Ridgeville is set up to score, getting the ball well into the Eagles' territory.
I mean, I played some high school football, been around high school football for the 8 years since, and I can't remember the last time I saw a team come out and get 3 straight offensive possessions inside the other team's 30. I mean, this is just a remarkable start for North Ridgeville.
And the Eagles special teams, both times they received the ball, had a lot of trouble with it. That wasn't the first one.
And they have the athletes as well. Like Lawrence Stanley, very capable player with the ball in his hands, but right there you'll be able to see if you play it back, there was just 2 guys trying to get the ball at the same time, and that's the result.
And this is danger time for the Eagles.
They'll need to step up here as they're defending from their own 22 as North Ridgeville sets up shop. Man in motion, they'll fake it to him. Looks like Miller's going to loft this one to the back of the end zone, and it goes just past. But not the worst idea. That was pretty good coverage that time on the back end by Amir Silmi of North Olmsted.
Yeah, that was great coverage. It wasn't a bad route or a bad throw, just great coverage by the secondary for the Eagles.
Miller able to get that one out of his reach. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 as we still have 2:29 to go in this first quarter. Feels like a lot has happened so far.
Yeah, easily could have been the half worth of football.
So Barnhart will motion out to the right. He'll fake it his way. Miller has to avoid somebody right away. Great job off the edge that time as the first man to hit him was Kyle Allen as he caused some pressure and was finished off that time by Tanner Perry.
And, I mean, even though they're down and it's not the best start, plays like that have to be a sigh of relief for the coaches over there with the Eagles. What a play by the guys. And if they could get that type of penetration more consistent, they might get another big stop here.
Yeah, and you got to do what you can to keep this offense off schedule. I know they've been able to convert on a few 4th and longs, but right now this is the most advantageous spot you've had them in since you were able to force a turnover on downs.
3rd and 16, got to get a stop here.
And they're giving a lot of cushion to those receivers right now. They don't want anything past them. Miller, he's going to look up top. Splits 2 defenders, gets away from another, and he's cutting back. And that tackle right there in the middle of the defense by Keon Beasley, is it enough to bring him up short?
Yeah, I think he's short by a couple yards. But I just loved, again, North Olmsted really being active on defense. And even the first couple guys that didn't get there, they forced him into a tackle.
And he picked up 14 on that one, so he makes up for the sack yardage the previous play. And now it's 4th and, we'll say, a long 2 here.
4th down.
Here comes Allison in motion. They'll give it up to Barnhart, and he's going to be stuffed. I don't know if he gets that one, Paul.
I don't think he got it, and if he didn't, what another huge stop for the Eagles.
And you can thank the trio of seniors on the defensive line there, Tanner Thorne, Tanner Perry, and Javion Pierce. I got to imagine they have some fun both being named Tanner like that. They've got some nicknames going on. But, yeah, the unit up there basically caused that single-handedly that stop on that drive.
And they've given up 14 points in the first quarter, but they've also had 2 highly impressive stops in the first quarter. So kind of a mixed bag of tricks for the Eagles, but that could be something that they could build on. What a play and what a stop for them.
So now North Olmsted comes back out, but that defense, they're pretty fresh. They haven't been on the field very often tonight. If my math serves me right, 4 total plays, 4 plays that Ranger defense has been out there. So they're jumping around with some excitement right now.
And I'm pretty sure on each one of those plays, there is at least 4 guys in for the tackle.
Yeah, they're charged up here, so it's going to be 1st and 10, 57 seconds to go on their own 15. It'll be a give this time to Jack. And Nolan Gill, just like on the kickoff, he's really flying all over the place at the moment.
It just doesn't look like North Olmsted really has the speed right now or the downfield offense to affect what North Ridgeville's doing out there on defense.
So they'll give him around 3 on that one for Jack, the 5'9" junior. And we'll see how diverse the play calling gets here. All we've really seen is these handoffs, of course, and then a swing pass. So we'll see how much they trust McPherson to move the ball. As this time it'll be a sweep around the right side. And it looks like Amir Silmi's going to be cut down after a pickup of around 4. As the first quarter clock will likely run out here. So from Rangers Stadium right now, the hosting North Ridgeville Rangers lead 14-0 over North Olmsted here on opening night of high school football in the county. We're stoked to bring it to you, and we can't wait to bring you the second quarter here shortly. One quarter is complete here from North Ridgeville High School, as it is just a beautiful night for football here in the middle of August. As we look out, it's 75 degrees and sunny, not a cloud really in sight, as it's just perfect. And that weather and field conditions update brought to you by Lorain County Clerk of Courts Tom Orlando.
And it's a great turnout, too, for opening night. I'm really impressed with both sides. It's a packed crowd, especially on the North Ridgeville side.
As the North Olmsted side is filled in a bit.
They have.
They're trying to see if they can get a conversion here on third down. But it's going to be more of the same here as McPherson. I don't think he went to the ground, but he had nowhere to go.
And that's been the case and the theme for pretty much every run that they've tried so far tonight. If my numbers serve correct, their longest offensive play so far went for 4 yards.
So it's tough to get that going because that average definitely shakes out to less than 3 yards of play. And now they'll line up for the punt team, but their punter, here comes McPherson. As he went to the sideline with his offense there at the end of that drive. You know, he probably wants to go over a few things, but he'll get a line drive punt off that time, and it'll stay in Eagle territory, but a bit better than the first one they saw. So now that defense has a little more breathing room, and I don't know, when their backs have been against the wall, that's when they've been at their best, it feels like.
They really have. I mean, they gave up a few long plays, and if you think about it, North Ridgeville's biggest plays are on scrambles from their quarterback. Outside of that, they've been at least containing the North Ridgeville offense.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Barnhart, he's had a solid evening so far, but no breakaway plays just yet.
Yep.
And we'll see if they keep trying to feed him here. And, of course, they're also including these receivers quite a bit, so they're keeping everybody fresh, and we'll see how that plays out into the second half of this ballgame.
Yeah, and look for Miller to get his first completions of the season soon.
Miller, he'll keep it that time as he tries to navigate through the front of North Olmsted, but won't get away there. And honestly, I think that North Olmsted defensive line, they're not really getting tired right now, and they're causing some issues up front. Even the linebacker, I mean, Luca LaRue was the one at the point of attack that time.
Honestly, despite being down a couple touchdowns, I'm pretty impressed so far with Olmsted's defense, especially having a lot of new faces out there this season. They're holding up pretty well.
And it's a front that doesn't specialize in a lot of guys in the box. They have a lot of pieces of their secondary out there. As we have a stoppage in play, I think it's going to be a potential timeout here, as it's all timeouts this season are brought to you by Lorain County Recorder Mike Duran, securing and organizing real estate documents. And we just want to I'll remind you of a few other of our great sponsors that help make high school football coverage possible, such as Jones Bones Barbecue and Grub, official barbecue of Lorain County, Friday Night Lights, and they're one of my favorite places to go get some food on the weekend. But looks like we're back.
We're back, but now you got me hungry.
Apologies for that, and it looks like Barnhart will keep it this time as Miller was not in the game, so maybe there was an equipment issue as his backup there, Braden Harrison, was in the game. So nice handoff up the middle that time for around 11. And just like that, we'll see Miller back out there. So maybe blood or something with the equipment.
Yeah, nothing serious, but that was clearly the reason for the quick stoppage.
So now he'll go back out there, and now we'll kind of see him form a huddle for the first time since maybe the opening drive as he gets resituated out there, setting up shop at the 24 here.
You can really see the Rangers filling out their offense and trying some different things out.
Speaking of different, that's going to be Luke Bartell in the backfield instead of Barnhart as he'll get his first carry of the evening, plunging ahead for round 4.
Just again showing off their riches in the backfield. They have a lot of guys they can throw at you, so they're not usually going to be tired back there.
Yeah, and you know, Barnhart obviously headlined the tailback room last year, but they had a couple of guys who stepped up big, so they're trying to replace some of that depth, and Bartell's just a sophomore, so he's given some opportunities here, and it's going to be another one of those end-arounds, Paul.
Ran beautiful.
All the way to the end zone as Cole Allison takes the handoff. And how many times did we see Charlie Steinmetz do plays just like that last year? This was his backup a season ago, and he's filling in beautifully.
And I mean, every person in that play executed perfectly. What a play by the Rangers, 20-yard touchdown as they go up 20-0.
So now we finally see a big chunk play to point to here from North Ridgeville's offenses. They've been pretty methodical throughout the evening. And just a great run.
Yeah, and of course the big chunk play comes from one of the guys you'd probably least expect it to come from.
And one of the newcomers to this varsity squad, and that kick for the third time is up and good by Keller. And it's 21-0 here. Just over 9 minutes to go in the second quarter of opening night here on the Lorain County Sports Network. We'll be back after this. Second quarter action about to continue here between North Ridgeville and North Olmsted. If you're just joining us here, I'm Max Drummond, joined in the booth by my broadcast partner tonight, Paul Williams, as well as Ed Vereen on the keys, running the stream, and Sam Sovacool getting you all the shots of tonight's game on camera, as it's just been beautiful conditions. North Ridgeville really opening up the place to us and making our jobs a lot easier. So big thank you to the Rangers and being very hospitable tonight.
Great facilities, and an honor to be with the great team here tonight.
As this one's kicked away by Finley Keller. Stanley will get his hands on it. No confusion this time. Makes one man miss, but great pursuit. And a good tackle job there by Josh Graham, just a sophomore, making a nice play on special teams.
Yeah, but I guess that's a step in the right direction for the Eagles. There was no confusion there, no fumble. That was the first kickoff they didn't fumble. So let's see if they can now get a chunk play or two to get their offense really sparked. They just need that 1 or 2 plays.
That they do, and they set up shop here at the 21. So their field position will be about typical for where it's been this evening. And we did see them try to involve junior quarterback Will McPherson a little bit last drive. We'll see if they go back to that or not with his legs. But obviously right now, you mentioned the chunk plays. Down 3 scores, you're going to need some movement out of him probably through the air. So it looks like penalty this time will be called on North Ridgeville. So they may have been lined up in the neutral zone there. So they give a free 5 yards to North Olmsted.
And right now, North Olmsted will take all they can get. And if you think about it, the difference in the game right now is the field position each team is starting with. North Ridgeville has started consistently within the 20 or 30-yard line, while the Eagles are starting 80 yards away. So it's a big difference from the first quarter until now.
You know, this style of offense with a couple wing backs and a lot of under center, it's not ideal or perfectly built for deficits like this, but we're going to see him load up, try to go deep. He's got a man. It goes off the fingertips of DJ Jeffries, one of the returning starters on that offense. And the play was perfectly drawn up there, Paul.
I mean, if I'm the coach, I feel good about that execution right there. I feel like everything that they wanted to see out of that play, there's a penalty.
And even with that, I mean, looks like North Ridgeville maybe tacked with some penalty yardage again. So it was a free play, so heads up. Job there by McPherson to get rid of that.
Yeah, and McPherson, that's my first time really seeing him open it up a little bit. He put it on his receiver. Impressive pass from him to start the season.
Nice deep ball. Is that time, like we mentioned, Jeffries, bit of a speedster there, but a guy I'm surprised we haven't seen get the ball through the air yet or a target is Lawrence Stanley, coming off of 13 catches, 200 yards last season. So that equals a lot of yak, a lot of yards after catch and per reception. So they'll go back to the ground game this time, and it looks like one Amir Silmi's going to be stacked up. No gain. As that will be the first play of the drive that counts, though.
Yeah, true.
A couple penalties before that is we got away from them a little bit there in the late first quarter, but they're kind of creeping their way back.
Hey, knock on wood right now, all right? But
it's probably a good idea.
Let's see North Olmsted, see if they'll open it up a little bit. I mean, I think now's the time if they're going to do it.
And you can tell North Ridgeville, they're daring them to right now.
Exactly.
We'll give it to Silmi. He finds a gap, spins out of a tackler, and he's going to be brought down on the other side of the 50. So even though he didn't get a big play through the air, if he can break through that second level, that can be dangerous with how close those safeties are.
Hey, that was a heck of a run, and that also will give the defense of North Ridgeville something else to think about. Keep them on their toes. That was an impressive play from was that the quarterback? I'm sorry.
That was Silmi stepping in that time. But you never know who's going to get it with this wing-style offense. There's a bit of misdirection there.
There really is, but in this drive at least, it's effective.
And, you know, all of their ball carriers back there, Jack, Silmi, and McPherson, they're all 5'9", so they can hide behind that offensive line, which has a little bit of height to it throughout. So McPherson rolling left, throwing across his body, and we see Stanley get his first catch of the night. And he picks up around 2. Looks like they'll give him 3 maybe.
And so far, even though we haven't seen many throws, it looks like McPherson is ready for the spotlight. He's looking pretty comfortable out there so far from what I see.
I agree, and I think if he gets more opportunities to do that rather than trying to have the pressure of punting to help his defense, I think it'll go a long way building up his confidence.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. The score, honestly, don't think about that. Outside of a couple touchdowns, Olmsted's looking decent out there.
Well, we've got 7:45 to go here in the second quarter, and I mean, if you're the Eagles, you do get the ball to start the second half, so if you can put something together here, that could go a long way, and looks like that'll be Silmi once again, getting very close to moving the chains.
And he looks good between the tackles. That's his third run now where he has at least broken 1 or 2 tackles and extended a play, and all of a sudden, the Eagles are looking like a team that has a legit offense.
They're getting some rhythm right now, as Stanley will come out of the game here for this third down. And I got to imagine that means in short yardage situation, we all should know where this is going.
Yeah, but, hey, it would be a heck of a time to take a chance as well, but you're probably right.
Maybe surprising. But, hey, Jeffries, you know, he did break off some press coverage earlier, so we'll see.
One-on-one.
McPherson, he'll try his hand at the hard count. And it looks like Brediger was just trying to see if they could get anybody to jump, and he'll call a timeout. Once again, brought to you by Lorain County recorder Mike Duran. And, you know, one thing to think of as this game goes on is how much depth each side is using. Obviously, we started the game with Cody Jack at running back, but now it seems Amir Silmi's kind of taken over the bell cow role.
And after what you've seen from Silmi just on this drive alone, I don't know how you don't give him some more opportunity.
That's absolutely right. And maybe their idea, try to keep Cody Jack fresh, keep him off of our Illyria Jewelers and Repair injury report, as both teams came in pretty healthy tonight. I know in our before our interview, Coach Brediger mentioned they came out of camp healthier this year than they did last year. So that was a great positive sign, and maybe that'll help them come out the gate a little faster this year than 2024.
Yeah, I mean, not having your whole squad to begin the season is really tough, and you don't get to see what you actually have for at least a few weeks. So I know the coach has to be excited about that, and he's probably pretty excited about what he's seeing on the field.
Yeah, right now this drive is inspiring a bit of confidence, so we'll see if they can keep it going. 3rd and 1 at the 38. This has been their best drive by far. They're going to go up the middle, McPherson, and there's going to be a stoppage that time as Rediger didn't like something. I saw him throw possibly a headset, and obviously that's going to be another timeout.
And 2 timeouts like that shows this is a huge play in this game so far. I mean, if the Eagles could go down and score right here, they're right back in the game. So both coaches know that this is a serious moment, and I'm excited to see if the Eagles can keep it going.
And, we've been talking a lot about their success on this drive. For the Rangers, what started out, you had, I think you coined it perfectly earlier, saying that they got some gifts. They got a couple of fortunate breaks. Won't call them lucky. They capitalized very well. But right now they're kind of having to lock in because this is the first time they've seen a full drive.
Exactly. And, I mean, if they didn't have that field position the way they did, who knows? This could be a different game because this drive is starting to stack up with North Ridgeville's first drive, which was their only long sustained drive so far.
And it's right now keeping that offense off the field, so we'll see if that can cool them off at all. But here we go. 3rd and 1. McPherson under center. He's got a couple guys behind him, and they're going to try to just go right at that Ranger defense. Did he get the ball stripped, or will they say he was ruled down? That's the big question here.
I think they're signaling down, but, man, North Ridgeville's defense has been very aggressive tonight, and that was no different.
And Ashton Cassetto, the big fella on the end, kind of spearheading that defensive line of all seniors. He thought for sure he had the ball. He thought he forced a turnover. But where the ball's placed right now is at roughly the 38.
I mean, it's so close.
Yeah, it looks like. So they need the 37. They're at probably 37 and a half.
They need to fall forward. Just make sure you get forward.
And, let me list the sides for you. In the middle with those tackles, Christian Ensley, 95, 6'2", 255. And Cassetto is pretty close to the interior, 6'1", 245. So now they're in the shotgun, or the pistol, rather. They're going to try to use their running back, Silmi. He tried to leap over the defender. Where's this spot going to be, Paul?
It's so close. Don't ask me.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
I think he got it.
He's going to be right at that 37, so
first down.
They'll move those chains. I'm almost surprised we didn't see a measurement there.
I mean, it was as close as you can get for a measurement, so I am too. But, he needed about the 37. He's exactly on the 37. So the Eagles get to continue what could be a game-changing drive for them.
So now we'll see them set up shop once again at the 37. Under 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter of our opening night of high school football coverage. It took forever to get here, but we're back. Love being in these booths on Friday nights, and they're going to give it to Silmi along the right side, and he'll maybe pick up a couple. That's been the story of this drive, those tough yards.
Hey, right now, North Olmsted has to just keep getting positive yards and just keep doing what they're doing. 5:54 left in the half. If North Olmsted can get a score here, it will change the entire game and their entire momentum and mind state going into halftime.
I got to agree, because we're now under 6 minutes, and if they drain enough of that clock and get a score, we haven't seen a lot of explosive plays tonight from North Ridgeville. Take it to the half, you get the ball back.
Get the ball back. And who knows, they might get one more chance in this half, depending what happens here. But, yeah, Olmsted in a decent spot.
So they'll fake it to Silmi this time, and McPherson has to get rid of it quickly. Who was that rushing in? My goodness, he came off the edge quick.
Yeah, Jack Andrews was, he, no question, knew what the play was, it seemed like, and he was on the quarterback before he could even make a decision.
I almost wonder, you see Silmy getting the fake handoff. He's trying to blow up a run play. And oh, hey, I happen to see somebody else with the ball.
Really?
So that'll stop the clock at 5:23, 3rd and 8 here. So we haven't seen too much success with the pass. It almost feels like you're in a situation where you're forced to.
And it has, you can see that he has it in him, McPherson, their new quarterback, but they're not going to the air that much, and they have a manageable play here. Let's see if they might take a shot.
So he's going to fake it to Silmy, slam, but that's batted down immediately. We talked about the size of the D-line and its importance in run plays. They showed off there in the passing game.
Man, and not only did they show off, they showed off on 3rd and 8 to force a big 4th down, and, I mean, that just changes a lot. So huge stand by the North Ridgeville defense. Well, I think they're going for it. Here we go.
Man, you hear that North Ridgeville crowd trying to pressure them, make it a little bit more difficult.
There really is nothing like Friday Night Lights, huh?
Oh, it's perfect, man. There's no else I'd rather be.
The energy, it's great.
So now we'll see a lot of receivers, 2 split right and 1 out wide to the left for McPherson. He drops back, pass rush coming at him, and it goes over the head of his intended target that time.
And that's frustrating because he had enough time, and Finley Keller was wide open for at least a 15-yard pickup. So that's going to be something when you're looking at game tape, that's a big play.
So it will result in a turnover on downs. That time, 5:16 to go here in the second quarter. And we were talking about if you get rid of enough clock, it could prevent Ridgeville from having a chance. But now this is right in their wheelhouse, man.
It's crazy how quickly all the momentum Olmsted was slowly building just kind of evaporated. And now the Rangers are back in control with the ball.
So they'll begin this drive at their own 35. Cole Miller in the backfield, and now we'll see Barnhart return, and honestly, it just feels like it's been a while since we've seen either of them out there. He'll fake it over the middle. Cole Allison showing off the speed. He gets a nice block. He's down the sideline, cutting back, and he's brought down inside the 20. Huge play that time, as he's going to pick up
46 yards on that play, 46 yards. Wow.
Let's do some quick math there as he's setting up shop for the Ranger offense, that time in the Steve Lawson red zone in a hurry.
And, I mean, Allison, when he gets that ball in the open field, you could just see the burst and the speed he has. That's a scary athlete out there. I really like his game.
And that's a guy that really wasn't seeing time on varsity last year, and he's adjusting well to the spotlight.
He has 3 plays of over 14 yards already in this game.
Yeah, that average will keep building here as he's going to get it and then give it back around as they tried to fool North Olmsted that time, but it's going to result in a loss on the play for Matthew Flesher.
Yeah, they tried to bring in a little trickery there. I guess this would be the spot to try it, but North Olmsted was ready for it.
Well, you keep him honest, right? Because we did see Allison score on a play like that where he kept it. So
exactly.
Now Flesher getting, I believe this is one of the first times we've seen him out there this evening, as he at times will fill in for Dylan DeShazo. Miller brings him in motion now as he'll drop back. He's looking that way, pump fakes, gets some nice blocks, and he's got open grass. And he tries to lower the shoulder. Great tackle there by Stanley, but it's going to be close to another first down, just shy maybe.
Yeah, a gain of about 9 right there, but again, Miller in the open field. He's a serious threat out there, and another chunk game for him.
So they will give him the first down, and yeah, that dive gave him a real favorable spot as he gets down to the 5-yard line here. And on another scramble, you mentioned it earlier, it's been their bread and butter being off schedule like that.
4th play of over 10 yards on the scramble for Miller.
He'll give it to Barnhart this time, and arm tackles ain't going to work on him. Another touchdown for Barnhart and the Rangers as they go up to 27-0 here late in the second quarter. And, I mean, you're testing the conditioning and the speed sideline to sideline of this North Olmsted defense, and then you just hammer away with the senior Barnhart, who's been doing that his whole career.
I mean, it is a scary situation to have a quarterback like Miller that could break it to the outside, and then Barnhart just pounding it. Tough for the Eagles to stop.
So Now Keller will get another shot, and I mean, he's perfect tonight. That's his 4th made PAT, and he puts it up 28-0, a 4-score lead with just under 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter from Ranger Stadium. We'll step aside, and we'll be right back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in a dominant showing from the North Ridgeville Rangers here on opening night at home against North Olmsted as they lead 28-0 in this non-conference bout. And it's just been a real balanced and effective effort tonight.
Yeah, and that last drive the Eagles were not able to capitalize on really came back to haunt them.
That's really, what, a 2-touchdown swing in a sense. And if you want to count the opening of the third quarter, it could be a 3-score swing in a sense of missed opportunities depending on what happens there. But right now, 4 minutes ago, we'll see if North Olmsted's got anything up their sleeve.
At this point, they just need to get something going just for themselves. Give themselves some confidence going into the half. It's only the first game. The game's not over. I hope we can see more of what they showed hints of in that last drive. Open it up a little bit. Give the athletes a chance to play some ball.
That's right. And whatever you can do, even if you don't end this drive in a score, knowing you'll get another opportunity out of the third quarter, it could go a long way in building a little more. And right now that offense is needing to add to their build up front as it looks like they're missing a player. But he'll enter the game now. I believe that is Cam Wishner. So now they'll give it up to Cody Jack, as that's the first time we've seen him in a handful of drives. Filling back in for Silmy.
It looks like what he saw Silmy out there doing might have motivated him a little bit because he had some extra burst on that one.
I think you're absolutely right. And, I mean, coming into this game and throughout camp, I mean, that's one thing Coach Tim Brediger talked about. We mentioned it in our Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame. There's some younger guys on this roster that are fighting for spots. There's a lot of competition, and that's one of them. That room, I mean, you got Jack, who's a junior, Silmy, a sophomore, and then Cohen Beasley, who's mainly been on defense, but he's listed as their 3rd running back. He's a freshman, so you got 3 different classes going at it.
Exactly, and that's going to bring the best out of the guys, even though, unfortunately, on that one, a penalty did bring it back.
So because of that, it's 1st and 20, ball back on the 18-yard line here, as they'll leave no man in the backfield with McPherson, but Silmy comes across the formation. Or excuse me, that's Jack. He's got the ball. He's in a foot race right now, shoved out of bounds. Very fortunate there. Carter Clark stayed home, or he might have still been running.
Is that the same guy that was on the field in the first quarter? Because that looks like a different running back. What a run.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, and he had to bounce it outside. It's not like there was a hole there.
I almost marked down no yards because it looked like he was stacked up at the line.
He gets 15, and, I mean, he recoups some of the yards he missed out on after the penalty. And it's up to the 35 here. It's North Olmsted now for the second drive in a row. We're seeing their most positive plays of the night.
3 minutes left. Let's see if they could get a nice drive going and give themselves a chance to score now and then once the second half starts.
So Jack will try to get going, but this time Hemza Famwawi got his hands on him. He wasn't letting go.
And now they're in another tough position. They can't really afford to give the Rangers the ball back in great field position again. So big play here and possibly big decisions coming for the Eagles.
Well, and what makes it pretty tough as well is even if you are able to sustain this drive a bit, you've had to use 2 of your timeouts in, I'm not going to say in boneheaded ways, but just ways that Coach Brediger would rather not and still have them right now.
Yeah, and those timeouts, they didn't get capitalized on. The guys still came out, and they didn't convert both
That's right.
times that they called a timeout.
So now, with just one timeout remaining, they have a 3rd and 4 with the Rangers. A little bit of confusion on their end. It looks like a few guys are huddled together, going over the plan here for this huge play near the end of the first half.
Big play here. The running game has woken up a little bit. Let's see if it can pick up 3 or 4 here.
McPherson, he'll wait the snap, fake it to Jack, and that's going over the left side. And, the right side. Ball batted up in the air, but unfortunately Wishner not able to come down with it for North Olmsted.
Flag on the play, but that's the exact same play that got him open a drive or two ago, and they just haven't been able to connect, but he's getting open on that play every time.
You know, it was some contested coverage there, but I don't think that's what the flag's going to be about, is a couple Eagles and Rangers had to be separated.
Hey, it's football. That's going to happen sometimes.
And it looks like we're going to get one on both sides, so those will offset, but those players, they'll hang on to those personal fouls for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and that's just not something you want your coach talking to you about after the game. So hopefully we could just keep it to football the rest of the way.
So now exiting the game for the Rangers is Reese Winkle, senior, not only linebacker, but he also is a depth piece up front. So he'll exit the game.
Is he being...
We'll see what they're discussing here as they're huddled up. Maybe trying to get the down and distance and the time settled, as we sit at 3 minutes or so at the moment. As Coach Brian Morgan shakes his head a little bit there as he comes back to the sideline after possible explanation.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to stay in the game as well.
As he is looks like he might be communicating with some of his players there too. So it's obviously that front is the most experienced group on this team, and now we have another flag. And they're gonna, and
They still ran.
it's clear the whistle was not heard on this half of the field, and it looks like Brian Morgan, it could be on him.
Yeah, I could tell that things were getting chippy. I thought they were thinking about throwing him out. The coach is not happy right now.
So it looks like it'll be pinned. They'll call it a sideline warning. Imagine it's something to do with what's being said more than anything. So this time, because they already had one earlier, it will count, and now we got a first down for North Olmsted.
And when you're struggling to keep the ball moving the way the Eagles are, something like this could be the thing that sparks you. You never know.
So now they'll be at their own 40. We'll see if it does ignite their offense here a bit as we get closer to halftime. And with that, we'll bring you our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Before we get there, though, Jack will get another carry around the right side. And tell you what, after that first couple plays, he's getting stacked up here, and this offense is struggling. But now we'll see a timeout from the Rangers as they get some support from their home crowd.
And it just, again, the field position, where these guys are starting at, the Eagles have had a couple drives that if they would have started where North Ridgeville started at, they would have got touchdowns out of it. But because the Eagles are getting pinned back, they have to drive 70, 80 yards, and that's just not easy to do against a good defense.
And they're doing it in a somewhat old-fashioned way as well with their style of offense. But it's their second year in this scheme now, and that's part of what Coach Brediger felt led to their resurgence in the second half of last season when they got into conference play. They got a bit more comfortable. Graduated now, quarterback Tommy Horsfall did a good job leading them in that category as he got more comfortable with the offense.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really look at them from last year, you could tell it took some time for them to get comfortable, but once they did, they really took off. Maybe that'll be the same case with these guys this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a squad that they, after an 0-4 start, they won 5 of their next 6 in the regular season, almost won the conference.
And not only that, they didn't score until the 3rd game of the season and only had 14 points going into week 5.
So we'll see if they can change that up this season as McPherson fakes it to Stanley, and he fights his way through the line. He gets a little bit of a crease there. And now it's going to force the hand of North Ridgeville here. They got to make up their mind with what to do with those 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're going to stay aggressive, especially with it being the first half. I think I know Coach Morgan pretty well, and I think the Rangers are definitely going to try to get down and score one more time before halftime.
Well, and to clear up any discrepancies, last season you had a lot of chances to talk to him in our studios during halftime and then post game, obviously. And you're out here with us tonight, filling in for Andy Bull-Barch. And we're happy to have you out here, but you've got that dynamic of knowing what's going on back there as well.
Yeah, got to hear a lot of the coach's point of view from games last year, and it really helps.
So now McPherson will step up here on third down, trying to get away. And he is sacked, but it looks like it could have been a face mask by Nolan Gill.
And these guys are playing very aggressively, and while that can be a good thing, there's a line that you have to teeter, and they're really struggling with that right now, some of these guys.
And it's been a very hard 2 days in training camp here for the Rangers. And, there's no official to tell you no in those settings. And it's kind of translating tonight where they're playing with a lot of physicality.
And once you're tired of beating up on your own teammates all summer, it feels good to finally go against another team and new faces. So I get it, but that's something that'll probably get cleaned up, I'm sure, as the game and the season goes on.
That's right. And right now, so it appears it was only of the 5-yard variety. So he touched the face mask, didn't grasp it. So now we've got 4th down and 1. And DJ Jeffries, he catches that slant over the middle. And he gets chased down, but not before a huge play with 1:35 to go till halftime.
That is exactly what the Eagles needed. Every time they try to open it up a little bit, it looks like it's there for them. I'm surprised they're not doing more of it.
It's going to count as 36
yards
for DJ Jeffries.
And that's the explosion you talked about he has early on.
So now they'll have a chance here to hand it off to Jack as they went very quickly, no huddle to the line. And they do have the 1 timeout remaining. And in this spot, unless you get a first down here, another first down, I can't see you wanting to spike it in this spot of the field.
No reason to. I'm surprised they haven't got Silmy back into the action yet.
So now we'll see what they have in store here as Jack remains in the backfield like you mentioned. He gets it around left side, but he's going to be tackled from behind. Who else? Ashton Cassetto, the big senior who's been making a lot of plays here in this first half tonight.
He's everywhere. And it seems like Jack is either getting stacked at the line or getting 10, 15 yards. There's no in between right now for him.
So now 55 seconds remaining. We get a timeout. We'll take one with them, and when we come back, we'll see how this first half concludes here from North Ridgeville on the Lorain County Sports Network. Coming out of the timeout here from North Olmsted, their last of this first half, as they are on a drive right now. Big play by DJ Jeffries has helped set them up, but they're at 3rd and 6 right now and need a big play. Lawrence Stanley will get it around the edge, and as good of an athlete as he is, Carter Clark, great job getting up there and setting the edge.
I'll tell you what, no one on North Olmsted has gotten around the edge one time on this Rangers defense. That's one thing they're not giving up. They might give up a few plays up the middle, but they are locking down the edges.
They've got great speed sideline to sideline, and I believe North Ridgeville's taking that time out there. Brought to you by Lorain County recorder Mike Duran, and that clearly shows they believe they can get a stop here and then maybe get that offense back on the field.
That's an exact aggression I was talking about. North Ridgeville, especially first game of the season, they're going to go after it, and they're going to, at least early on, see what they can do in every type of situation.
And you mentioned the situations. I mean, this would be the perfect and the first opportunity to practice that 2-minute drill.
Yep, and especially when you can take maybe a couple chances that you wouldn't take in a closer game. Yeah, I can see why the coach is wanting to call a timeout and get maybe one more possession.
So as we mentioned, we're very close to halftime, 38 seconds to be exact. And as we get closer to halftime, I'm sure many of the games across the county are, including our radio games as the guys on WDLW are up close watching Maple Heights at Lorraine, and over on WOBL, they've got Western Reserve at Wellington. And then on our fellow stream, which you may have seen if you clicked on the channel, it's Midview at Westlake. All of those games happening here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Fourth down. Looks like we're going to get the pass off from McPherson, but it was pretty far behind. Jack had no chance, even if he did stay on his feet.
And just coming out of a timeout, you hope to see a little better execution than that. But here we are in North Ridgeville, 34 seconds. Let's see if they can open it up and play a little 2-minute football.
And we haven't seen them have to rely on their passing game all too much. Obviously, the big play, their last time out to Cole Allison. But this is possibly our first chance to see them do pass plays in succession.
Yeah, only one completion, 4 total attempts. So this would be a spot if there ever was one. But when you're stacking up the type of numbers you are running, I could see why they don't throw it that much.
Definitely. In 34 seconds to go, ball on their own 13. We'll see how they started. I mean, if you're going to give them that much space, they're going to take it. That's Duke Baker. He gets his first catch of the season.
That's the type of defense you play if there's 8 seconds left, not 34 seconds left. Not sure what they were thinking given that much space.
So that'll be 13 for Baker, as he was able to get out of bounds as well. And they do have 1 timeout remaining, so it'll go a long way to save some time here. 4 wide receivers. We'll probably see that the rest of the half. Miller loading up, and he finds another comeback, this time to Baker, who falls down inbounds. And they're going to hurry up to the line here as we're at 23 seconds. It looks like they're trying to move the chain, so that's why the clock has been stopped momentarily. And now they'll run it. Miller sets up in the pistol with Barnhart directly behind him, dropping back. He looks that side again. Him and Baker, they've got some chemistry going right now.
If they're going to give him that much room, he could probably do that same play and at least get to the red zone.
And you have a very experienced kicker on your roster, and one Finley Keller, a senior, who's been doing this for quite some time. So we didn't get a chance to see him in pregame where his long field goal would be from, his longest range, but they may test it.
And he's kicked a lot of extra points already.
That's right, Miller over the middle, and that time it drifts on him, and it's going to go along the hash. And it looks like that's going to be the 13 of Colin Scott on the pick.
Yeah, Colin Scott, solid all the way. Not really sure exactly what Miller was shooting for there. The coverage was on. But, hey, that's the chances you take in a 2-minute drill. I don't think it's something that North Ridgeville will dwell on too much.
Not at all. And with 11 seconds left, I mean, we've seen a couple attempts through the air by North Olmsted, only one working so far. Obviously, Miller may not like that for his own stats, as he only had a handful of interceptions last year, but they're still in great position here in this ball game tonight.
It's like shooting a Hail Mary in a basketball game. Now you're 10 for 21 instead of 10 for 20.
Exactly.
Not a huge deal.
I like that, yeah. He's with the 28-point lead here, we'll see how they choose to attack. So McPherson under center, and he will drop to one knee, and that'll take us to halftime. And when we come back, we'll bring you our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Insurance questions, call Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance in Amherst. We'll break down this game a bit more. We'll also rate the dog, thanks to Brian Victor of Howard Hanna. And so much more to come on our halftime show. Right now, though, at the break, 28-0 North Ridgeville over North Olmsted here on the Lorain County Sports Network. back here at halftime on the Lorain County Sports Network in our game of the week, presented by Legacy Home Finance. As well, there's been really no question about what's happening here. 28-0, all North Ridgeville right now at the half, as North Olmsted will make some adjustments here at the half as they'll get the ball to open the third quarter. Looking around the county, we've got a few score updates to provide as Bishop Hartley leads Elyria Catholic right now, 28-14. Columbia up 16-0 on Independence. Amherst, which is playing their game against Sandusky in Avon Lake Stadium, is up 35-6, so the Comets are coming out strong. Wycliffe up 27-0 on Oberlin. Western Reserve Western Reserve up on Wellington 26-6. And we on our other stream right now, Midview is up on Westlake 28-14. So both county teams here on YouTube tonight are faring very well in their matchups. As we try to find a few more for you right now, it looks like Edison is running away with it from Firelands and Keystone in Northwestern. Keystone, after losing a bit from their team last year, is up 20-0. So a strong start for the Wildcats. And, you're here obviously for North Ridgeville, North Olmsted, so we'll get into a bit of that in a few moments as we'll come back with some of our Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game, as well as Rate the Dog, which if you're new around here, unfamiliar with that, we'll explain all that, I promise. It's a lot of fun, so we'll have all that for you when we come back here at halftime on the Lorain County Sports Network. The Lorraine County Sports Network back with you here at halftime of our game of the week between North Ridgeville and North Olmsted. Want to thank you for coming along with us as we cover teams across the county, and to remind you here on our YouTube channel to like, subscribe, and share it. If you got somebody who couldn't make the game or they're maybe out of state, send it their way so they can, whether it's their kid or maybe a friend, they can check them out here on Friday nights throughout the fall. And as we lock in on this matchup we're attending, we want to break it down a little further, see who's making these big plays that have led to a 28-0 lead for the Rangers. And for the Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game, I'll throw it over to my partner here, Paul, as he breaks it down for you.
First of all, we have kind of what would be expected, a steady dose of Barnhart. He's been getting it done, getting the chunks gains needed, but really, Cole Miller getting to the outside has been a key to North Ridgeville's offense. He has now 3 big plays getting outside on a broken play. And then, Allison, each time he has touched the ball, it seemed like he had a chance to go all the way, and each time he went for at least 14 yards. So Allison has been a big surprise playmaker for me as far as the Rangers go. As far as North Olmsted, they got a little boost from their running game at times in the second quarter, and one big play between McPherson when he hit Jeffries for 36 yards. But besides that, their offense has been a bit of a struggle.
And with that, we kind of go back to our starting lineups and a little bit of our pregame. There's a bit of youth out there. And also, they're just working against a very experienced North Ridgeville defense. Even though they lost a couple of big names, like Carson Matus comes to mind from last season, they've retooled a bit, and they just have a couple of experienced guys that have been difference makers who maybe they were just starters last year. Now they're kind of becoming impact players.
Yeah, and you can see it out there, and it's showing in the stats as well. The rushing game for the Eagles just hasn't gotten going. Only 59 rushing yards in comparison to 144 for North Ridgeville. And that is a lot to do with the Rangers' defense. They've been active. They've been swarming the ball. And their secondary has also broken up a couple plays that could have really been big for the Eagles.
Well, and a couple of the names you mentioned there directly, obviously Cole Miller, quarterback for the Rangers, along with Zach Barnhart and Cole Allison. They all, right now, are contenders for our Zabo Apparel Company Player of the Game. So make sure you stay tuned throughout to see who's going to take that home, as we've got an amazing T-shirt from Zabo to give them the Player of the Game. And they'll get those honors, as Zabo also provides all of our gear throughout the season. So if you see us out on site or any pictures of us online and you see all of us matching, that's thanks to Zabo Apparel Company in Vermillion. So be game day ready all year long with Zabo Apparel.
Yeah, and just kind of, again, going through North Ridgeville's attack, it's so balanced between mainly Barnhart and Miller. But you even saw they'll throw Allison in there for a couple runs. DeSajo is an option as well. So it's just a really balanced attack that they're throwing out there. And I think Coach Brian Morgan of the Rangers, he has to feel good right now about both sides of the ball, because even though the Rangers defense bent a little bit in the second quarter, they never broke. They got the big stops when they needed, and they've been just as good as the offense, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly put, and he's happy with them, and I'm pretty happy right now. I think everybody is, obviously, because Friday Night Lights is back, but we've also got Rate the Dog, one of my favorite segments. I sometimes like it more than the games themselves. Might be bad to admit that, but we do this every place we go across our broadcast. It's brought to you by Brian Victor of Howard Hanna. And he says to enjoy the game, and we enjoyed some great hot dogs from this Ranger concession stand. And I am told by Sam Sobical, who always does an outstanding job beating the crowds at halftime to get them. He told me to give a shout out to Leslie, who runs not only the concession stand but the cafeteria here at North Ridgeville. So a big shout out and thank you to them. And we got to rate these dogs. And we're objective. We do our homework. So I'm going to come in at around a 4.2. That's where my rating's going to be at, Paul. This may be only your first or second time rating the dog. Where are you coming in at?
It was impressive. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say too much because that could be a touchy subject to talk about, but it was a good hot dog. I'm going to give it a solid 3.9. If it had different toppings that I could have put on,
sure,
it would have got into the mid-4s.
But, hey, that's the way we do it around here. We make sure that you just get the hot dog on its own, and, every concession stand here in the county. They got their way of doing it, and it's very unique. So, and I know Sam mentioned in the fours, Edwin, he came in around a 4 as well. So I'm going to average it out to low 4.1 or so, 4.2. Very solid start to the season. And we'll do that at concession stands all year long. Right now, we'll leave the shot of the camera on the field as you're getting the North Ridgeville Rangers marching band. But we'll step aside here for a few minutes, and when we come back, we will bring you the start of the third quarter, as that will just about wrap up our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. If you want to know more scores around the county, or you want to know what's happening elsewhere, make sure to tune in to either of our radio stations, as I don't know if you've heard, we're the only AM/FM licensed stations remaining in the county, and their halftime show and their studio updates brought to you by E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. They're very comprehensive. John Guzik is back there, and you can tune in either on 107.7 FM, 1320 AM, or WOBLradio.com, as well as WDLWradio.com, and you can keep track of all that there. So we'll step aside right now, but enjoy the North Ridgeville Rangers marching band. minutes away from the start of the third quarter here in North Ridgeville as we welcome you back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Thank you for hanging out with us during halftime as we rated the dog. We went over some stats and got you up to speed with a few things happening around the county as a lot of county teams are having some successful starts to their season. Right now, we're just seeing a few players out at midfield sort some things out, and a couple of our captains, which team captains every Friday are brought to you by North Coast Insurance Group, specifically Robert H. Garcia, your local Allstate agent in Avon, and a few of those guys that went out for the coin toss and then right now as well. They included from North Ridgeville, one Ashton Cassetto, a senior, as well as Christian Ensley, and a few other names such as Zach Barnhart, Cole Miller, some predictable names, and Jason Ellison, the new starting center. And for North Olmsted, they had a couple linemen out there, Mitch Jones and Javion Pierce, who share the left side of the offensive line together. We've seen them have to run their way quite a bit tonight. So those are your captains, once again brought to you by Robert H. Garcia, your local Allstate agent in Avon. As Paul, we saw North Olmsted get a couple things going near the end of that half, and we talked about the potential of starting the second half with some points on the board. Didn't happen, but now they get another chance to score and get on the board.
Yeah, at this point, the first half is over with. It's done. That doesn't matter. They should come out with a 0-0 mindset and just play the best football they can play. It's only the second half of the first game of the season, so they still have a lot to play for.
A lot of things to work out as we've got 12 minutes on the clock and an antsy North Ridgeville kickoff unit. As they've made a couple big plays here tonight, I'm sure they would like to make another one.
Well, they know the opportunity is there. The Eagles have struggled on 3 of their 4 kickoff returns, so I don't blame the Avon line being ready to make something happen.
And this one's going to be a squib kick through the middle, and it'll be picked up there by the 34 of Cohen Beasley, and he'll get up ahead to the 30 is where they'll mark him at, and that's where they're going to start their first drive of the second half, and that will bring us to our Janasco Insurance first snap of the half. The protection you need, the service you deserve. Janasco Insurance on Broadway in Lorain.
And let's see if we see anything different from the Olmsted offense now. Maybe they'll be a little more comfortable coming out in the second half. They've already got those jitters out, made some mistakes. Now they could just play some football.
And they've seen a few things that have worked, right at the end of that half.
Yeah, maybe they'll go to some of the things that worked a little more this time.
Now we're going to see a low snap corralled that time, and Mir Silmy, he's going to start the half for them. So Cody Jack started the game, but as the first half went on, Silmy kind of absorbed a lot of the handoffs.
And honestly, when it comes to the Olmsted offense, that was the most intriguing thing for me. I wanted to see, are they going to commit to one of the two? And it looks like they might have found their guy that they're going to at least give the opportunity to first.
And so he gets that first chance of the half, and it looks like we may have had a penalty flag thrown. They're going to call it, so a couple unsportsmanlike conduct on each side. Second time we've seen that happen tonight.
You would think after halftime things would be calmed down, but for them to come out this quickly and be kind of right back at it, it's a little surprising. The guys are still very amped up.
Yeah, the intensity has definitely been present this evening, and North Ridgeville has embodied that. And they're walking around like a team that knows, hey, we won 9 games last year, but that's our starting point. We want to build on that and keep going.
Exactly, and even though this is a 28-point game, it has the intensity and aggression of a close playoff game, honestly.
Yeah, it's 0-0 right now.
Yeah.
As they come out here in this third quarter, another stoppage. Tonight we've had a couple of those as the lights are in full effect, so we finally are under the lights here on Friday night as the sunset has already happened as the bands were out there. You got to see the North Ridgeville band and part of the North Olmsted band during our halftime show.
And after all that, we're back with the ball at the 31, 1st and 10, Eagles.
So McPherson will set up. He's got Silmy to his left. They'll bring a motion man. That's Connor Verbicki. They'll fake it to him, and a nice wrap-up tackle. It's going to result in a couple yards, but, man, what a hit. And that's perfect form coming from a safety of all players for North Ridgeville.
Yeah, Carter Clark. He really stepped up and made a big play there. That could have easily slipped through his hands, but he really locked up and tackled.
So now it's 2nd and 9, and we saw a little bit of tempo from North Olmsted there in the second quarter. Obviously, with the clock being involved now, very content to take their time here and run their traditional offense.
Yeah, and I thought that last play had some potential. Just, again, great defense by the Rangers.
As many starters are still out there, in fact, for North Ridgeville, and it's showing on this play as well. My goodness. Whole defensive line seemed to be involved there.
And again, you can see as soon as they get up, they're back in each other's faces. This is a very, very intense game right now.
So we have had some chippy stuff going on, and if you can see the 73 on your screen, that's quite the celebration.
For sure. They're having fun out there as well.
So now 3rd and long, and Cassetto and a few others on the defensive line probably pinned their ears back here. One thing we didn't touch on so much, if you watched our preseason coaches show here on the Lorain County Sports Network, you would have heard about it. We haven't touched on it too much tonight, but Ridgeville has kind of changed up their style on defense. They've got 4 down linemen. They'll try to use it here, won't get home, but that ball's going to come out. Are they going to rule that a catch? They'll say it's a catch, and it came out. So Lawrence Stanley had it for a moment, and I guess they'll say he caught it and was down.
Yeah, I mean, every time they've tried to go to the air, there's been potential there, and that time they did connect. Not a huge play, but you don't always have to hit a home run. Those 7-8 yard gains could come in handy if they can just sustain it a little bit.
I liked it there. They kind of took away the pressure by rolling away from it. McPherson has shown a little bit of some pep in his step, some athleticism tonight, so he's able to escape pressure and find Stanley.
The pressure there every time, though, from the Rangers.
So instead of McPherson punting, it will go to their kicker, Zach Hogg. That's definitely the best punt of the night we've seen. So he is pretty effective there, putting North Ridgeville on their own side of the field, but away from the play, away from the ball entirely. We've got another flag.
I mean, it's kind of nonstop right now. These guys are really getting after it.
And so because it occurred, looked like right as the ball was being downed. I'm not sure if this will be a dead ball or if it will be during the middle of the play.
I'm thinking dead ball, but at this point, who really knows?
So we are going to get a holding. So
oh, wow.
It was very close to the whistle.
Wow.
We thought with how chippy things have been getting, maybe another unsportsmanlike, but that's going to be a hold, and it'll set back North Olmsted a bit further for the start of North Ridgeville for the first drive of the half.
Never want to see those type of penalties on a fair catch. Not a huge deal, but that is something a good team will talk about and hopefully get improved going into their next games.
So now North Ridgeville will set up shop at their own 31. And this is the first time, it feels like, since their first drive of the game where they're going to have to go the length of the field.
And it's been the way the Eagles have had to do it all game.
So they'll throw it out left. Allison, we've said Cole Allison's name quite a bit as the game has gone on, as they've found a bit of a playmaker there in the junior. He gets around 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the ball in his hands a lot more, whether it's through the air or with the handoff. The guy is pretty explosive.
Now 2nd and 8 as we get under 9 minutes to go on a moving clock here in the third quarter from North Ridgeville High School. I want to thank you for coming along with us for our opening weekend of coverage. Barnhart touches the ball, gets away from 2 different Eagles, and he's going to try to run through another, but he'll be brought down by Silmy, running back on running back there, but it's still going to be a Ranger first down.
Yeah, and he got picked up 20 there. Looked like he shouldn't even have had a chance to get 3 or 4, but just showing his explosiveness and his strength right there. What a run from Barnhart.
We've known about the power throughout his career. I mean, standing at 6 foot, and at one point I know he was up over 220. Coach Morgan believes he's trimmed down a little bit to try to show more speed, and right there, it's not breakaway speed that we've seen tonight, but just a lot of burst.
Yeah, and it's something different from what we've seen from him most of the game going up the middle.
So now that's a familiar sight. At the end of the half, Cole Miller, him and his receiver Duke Baker were best friends then the second quarter, and now they hook back up there.
Yeah, that's just an easy pitch and catch. If they're not going to play up anymore in the secondary, they can get that completion all day.
take what you can get. And now they're taking their time as Cole Miller gets a little water there as he's getting the play from his coach. So he's going to get back to the huddle and set up for 2nd and 3. Re-entering the game, Luke Bartell, as they're trying to keep those tailbacks fresh right now.
And I like that the Rangers came out, kept putting the ball in the air, running their same offense, being consistent.
Bartell that time tries to be the hammer, but being at 5'10", 170, it takes a lot of guts to run to the strength of that North Olmsted defensive line.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even guts isn't enough sometimes.
No, it is not. With guys like Tanner Thorne, Javion Pierce over there, as they've been very effective in seasons past, as they're both returning starters along with Tanner Perry in the middle. So they're really going to have to lean on those guys this season to try to guide along what is a somewhat inexperienced remainder of a defense. So 3rd and short here. Allison will get the pass out his way. It's going to drop. It'll be interesting to see. Okay, they will say incomplete, as it looked like Allison caught that at the 42, and I'd say Miller let it go at the 44, so definitely forward pass.
Yeah, that was odd right there. It looked like it should have been an easy catch and at least a gain of 6 or 7. Just a disconnect right there, not on the quarterback, but brings up 4th down. Let's see what they do.
So a late addition on that play, as they're going to bring in an extra lineman, I believe. Leland Martin came onto the field a little bit late there. He may have been replacing someone else, but 4th and short, they're going to go for it. And another pre-snap penalty.
Oh, a free 1st down.
And North Olmsted gets caught a little too far over the line, and it'll move the chains. And, you know, we've seen them come up with some stops, but the times they had, it's when they forced some penalties out at North Ridgeville.
And whether the game's 50-7 or 14-14, those are plays in those situations. They just can't happen. That's not something that can happen on this level, and that's definitely something that the coach will clean up in the coming days.
So a new set of downs to work with from the 37 of North Olmsted, as we're seeing a possible blitz off the far side, and they'll run into it. And Barnhart, he's going to spin away. You talked about earlier, very intentional spins, and it gets him around 6, saving what could have been a lost play.
Yeah, a lot of guys seem to spin nowadays for the style. When Barnhart spins, he's doing it because he sees an opening that he could hit. And that's the 2nd time he did it. He did it efficiently, and he picks up another 6.
It brings up 2nd and 4, as they're not moving as quickly as they did in the first half. Understandably so, as we're at 7 minutes to go here in this 3rd quarter, holding a very comfortable lead at the moment.
They have such a versatile offense. They could go fast, go slow, run, pass. It's really impressive.
And the styles of the runs as well. Some of those counters we see are end arounds, and even getting Miller involved, which we haven't had to see so far in this half. I don't know if the coach has told him, hey, let somebody else have a chance to make a big play, or if he's just trying to save himself for the coming weeks. But as we talked there, another penalty for North Olmsted, and I don't know if it's coming down to fatigue or just lack of discipline at this point.
Yeah, first game of the year, it's hard to give any excuses for those type of plays. It's just stuff that inexperience. It's a lot of inexperience showing tonight.
Now Rangers will try to take advantage, and as we talked about him not using his legs, he rolls left. Miller puts it up, and that's going to be at the front pylon. Did he reel it in?
There's no way.
He's pointing down, and that's going to be the 18 of Eric Lengauer. Deep ball touchdown, as that came from about I'll say about a 25-yard touchdown there for Lengauer. His first catch of the season is a touchdown. How about that?
Wow, and not just a touchdown, but he earned that one. He went up and got that ball. That was impressive. I wish I could see the angle of how he kept his feet in, but wow, what a catch.
He high-pointed that, and if you want the angle, well, as far as I could tell, Sam Sovacle did an amazing job. I mean, he's the reason I saw the number there. He zoomed in, so play it back on your screen. Check it out. Lengauer, as he was he's 6'3". He brings a different dynamic than they had last year at receiver.
And he showed he'll use every inch of that 6'3" if he needs.
He certainly did, and that's going to put the Rangers up 35-0 halfway through the 3rd quarter here. So another productive offensive drive as they hold a big lead at home here on opening weekend of high school football. We'll be back with more of it here on the Lorain County Sports Network after this. Back here in the third quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network, as we may have had our best play of the game so far, especially from an offensive standpoint, with Eric Lengauer climbing the ladder and coming down with the 50-50 ball from Cole Miller, as it puts the Rangers up 35-0 here in this third quarter, as the kickoff that time will be received by Amir Silmi, and he'll be brought in at about the 25-yard line. And we have more extracurricular activity going on after the whistles, so we'll see the refs sort that out here. And, you know, at this point now, you get into the second half, you got to watch yourself, because anything that happens if you get punished, kicked out of this game, it affects next week now. Whereas the first half, it would have just been the rest of this. Now you got to worry about week 2, so they got to wisen up here on both sides.
Yeah, and that's just so not worth it. That's a good point, and I hope they are thinking about that. But sometimes you get so caught up in the emotions of the game, you're not really thinking the long term. But, yeah, let's hope they just play some clean football from here on out.
So now it's going to move. So this time it looks like it won't be on both sides. North Olmsted is going to be on the receiving end of the penalty, and that, I mean, they've had a tough time getting good field position, and this is just going to make it worse. So now North Olmsted will come out, and they'll begin this drive at their own 13. And Will McPherson, I mean, he's seen a lot of different stuff tonight in his first varsity start under center. And, you know, in theory, I think it'll make him stronger, make him more adaptable in certain situations, and he's got another tough spot to be in here.
Yeah, in the long run, this is not a bad experience for him by any means. He hasn't got a ton of chances to throw the ball, but honestly, he hasn't looked that bad when he has. He's getting more comfortable as the game goes, and he still has part of the second half to put something on tape and to get some momentum going into the rest of the season. So
now we are in a running clock, as we're just over 5.5 to go and counting, as it has hit over the 30-point threshold for that to happen. McPherson will hang on to this one, and he's going to pay the price. Luckily, he stays on his feet, but man, oh man, he got lit up in the backfield by Ryan Anderson.
I mean, if North Ridgeville's defense is going to play this aggressive and on point all season, they're going to be a tough team. They're looking like a well-balanced squad right now that has elite players on both sides of the ball. And, yeah, Brian Strippy and Ryan Anderson seem to be everywhere on every play.
Yeah, and that's your second level and third level of your defense, making big plays constantly. And it's now 2nd and 12 in the shadow of their own end zone just about. Cody Jack back in the game at running back, stood up, picked up even, and he's going to be dropped. He's not going anywhere, and they'll say he gets back to the line, or maybe even the official closest to us says he loses a yard. So it'll bring up 3rd and long here.
And it seemed like North Olmsted started to get something going in the second quarter, but like a good team often does, it seems like North Ridgeville has made a few adjustments on their defense, and now Olmsted's kind of stalling out again. Let's see if they can make anything happen here.
Yeah, they're still playing very well against the run, and you know, we saw throughout the first half, I mean, they didn't have a safety beyond 7 yards. And now they've kind of, North Olmsted tried to spread out a little bit, and you see here, we're seeing a cushion, lighten the box up. McPherson rolls right, he's going to throw on the run. Had a man open there as Connor Verbicki, the senior, was running down the sideline. It would have been a tough catch even if it was kind of in location with a Ranger in pursuit.
Tough throw and catch, but those are the type of plays that playoff teams and winning teams that you're going to have to make sometimes throughout games. And that's a young guy that's just taken in this new role. So he'll have a few mulligans, but good play call, just couldn't fully connect.
And it seems like he's had the most chances to get the ball out of his hands and get into good spots when they've been moving him around. So even at his 5'9" stature, I mean, he's very comfortable moving on the run. And I think it's probably better off so he doesn't have to try to see over those linemen. Exactly. So now Zach Hogg with a beautiful punt, as that's going to be at the 45, but we could see a beautiful return here going around the left side. That's going to be the 2 of Carter Clark as he keeps breaking down the sideline. And we've got a couple players down, one from each side. Like you said, some dirty laundry, and we're going to have to reassess here.
A lot going on in that play, but Olmsted special teams has really kind of flipped the switch over the last quarter or so. They've punting and receiving, they've looked a lot better.
And that's just small parts because clearly at the start of this game, I mean, that's little things like that have added up to what became an avalanche that eventually just broke through. So right now we do have that injury on the field. So with that, we'll take a timeout with them. And when we come back, we will see the Rangers on offense here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in the third quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network, as our coverage out here each and every week wouldn't be possible without our great partners. And I just want to remind you a few more partners of who they are. The MARS Mental Health Addiction and Recovery Services Board of Lorain County. Be there for someone struggling with mental health and addiction issues this season. We've also got Richard Ramsey. Vote Ramsey for Judge. Elyria Charities, because it's all about education. And Justin C. Miller, Esquire, a motivated legal experience to help. So a big thank you to all of them. And also Dovin and Reber Jones Funeral and Cremation Center, as you're seeing a lot of these logos and these companies during our break. So please support them as they support us, bring you this coverage as we're back in some game action here with the Rangers working in a few reserves now, as we've got Braden Harrison delivering the handoffs here. And we've seen him a little bit tonight. So Luke Bartell, he's had some opportunities to make some plays, and now it looks like he's going to handle most of the load here as we continue on the second half. So 2nd and 9. Harrison, he'll clap, get the snap, and they'll do a counter around. Cole Allison still out there, though, as he's had a few big plays on ones like this. He's breaking down the right sideline. He's got 1-2 man to beat. He gets shoved out of bounds at the last moment by Cohen Beasley, but it's going to set up North Ridgeville with some prime real estate in the red zone. And let's see, there's some discussion among officials here around the 40-yard line. And you can see at the bottom of your screen there, I believe a flag is going to be picked up, and not in the sense that it won't count, but I think they may have hit somebody lead blocking there for Allison.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he even needed that. I mean, he was getting around that corner, and that burst that he has, I think he was going to make the same play regardless. So kind of disappointing, but it again just showcases how many scary weapons that offense has for the Rangers. When you could pound it with Barnhart 20, 25 times a game, get Miller out in the open space, or give it to Allison, I mean, that's a scary combination.
And scary is a perfect word, because right now he just did that without Barnhart or Miller out there. Miller's got a headset on delivering plays right now. I mean, so none of those guys are decoys or distracting, and Allison's still in open space just making things happen.
It's got to be fun to be able to have that many different weapons to kind of play with as you come up with your play calls as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, we thought last year it could have been a high-octane offense. This year, who knows, it could go even further. So we've got an officials timeout on the field, as each side will hit their respective sidelines. So don't forget, coming up as we get closer to the end of the third quarter here, we will get into our post-game show where we will have plenty of awards to give out, such as our Zabo Apparel Player of the Game. And I mean, if that one stood for Allison, he's creeping his way forward to trying to take away that Player of the Game honor from Zach Barnhart or Cole Miller, or whoever else we may decide. And we've also got more stats of the game thanks to Al Januzzi CPA, and we will also have to decide on maybe some guys to watch for this year's Golden Helmet Award. Thanks to Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, for presenting that to a different senior in the county each year.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some candidates from this North Ridgeville team. They are a serious threat in the area this year, and a lot of these guys are going to get there. There will be some awards going out for this North Ridgeville team at some point this season, and I mean, I'm just excited to see. We already knew about their offense, but if their defense is really what we're seeing tonight, North Ridgeville is officially a very much a contender in the SWC.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Rangers defense that lost I believe 5 starters, as that one's going to fall incomplete for Harrison. And they lost maybe the best, some consider one of the best defensive players in the county, and Carson Matus, as he was a first-team all-Southwestern Conference kind of player and just really set the tone. He wore number 1 last year. I'd be interested to find out if Zach Barnhart, if there was some discussion there, how he ended up with 1, or if that just is coincidence. But you know, passing it along that way. And you touched on all the different weapons. We've done that throughout this game. You almost got to wonder if maybe that affects the individual stats, who can get Golden Helmet that way. We'll have to wait and see, though. We'll think about that, and each team will think about heading to the 4th quarter here, as that's going to do it for the 3rd. When we come back, we'll check in with the Rangers offense once again up 35-0 here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Fourth quarter getting underway here from North Ridgeville. That's a awkward snap, and not able to get his hands on it until he hits the ground is Harrison, Braden Harrison for the Rangers. So that being, I believe, on 3rd down, it now brings up 4th and 20. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Paul. Is this going to be the first time we see the Rangers punt unit tonight?
It is. They've been a very aggressive team on 4th down all game long. I feel like if this was a closer game and it was maybe 4th and 10, they'd probably go for it again. So, yep, first punt for the Rangers.
So we'll get to, we've obviously seen a lot of Finley Keller tonight lining up at his kicker spot and on kickoff specialty unit, but this will be the first punt we see from the senior this evening, as he stands at around his own 23, and he boots it with a nice spiral on it, and nobody from North Olmsted is going near it. Hands are on it by Colin Scott, but he was tackled pretty rough. Can't tell if that came out. He definitely doesn't have it. We'll see who comes up with it. And the Rangers.
I spoke too soon about the special team stuff with the Eagles. That's tough.
And hey, your starting punters out there, and I can tell you right now, I definitely saw a few starters from the Rangers units out there. Guys like Perry Dixon, who starts at corner. I believe Nolan Gill out there as well. So they got some, really, that is their first chance here in the regular season to see that unit, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter at school. When you're a football player, when you're in the game, you're going to go 100%. You don't care about the score or anything like that. So Avon, whether they're all starters or they have a mix, or I'm sorry, North Ridgeville, they're going to stay aggressive and make plays.
And this crowd responds. We'll let you get a bit of that.
I mean, they have the ball at their own 1-yard line. I'd be pretty excited as well.
Well, and since you mentioned Avon, I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring that up, because obviously these teams, North Ridgeville and Avon, it came down to the end of the season for a matchup last year. This year they played week 4. They opened conference against each other, so you got to ramp up quickly. Avon did that last night against St. Ignatius, and was a very notable game for a lot of reasons last night, and Ridgeville doing the same here tonight against North Olmsted as they're pitching a shutout right now. So Harrison will get the snap, hands it up the middle, and quite a lane right there to run through for one. Luke Bartell.
Bartell, a 1-yard touchdown, and they continue their offensive onslaught. And it's been all the running game. I mean, they haven't really even needed to go to the pass, so they've just showed off all the different weapons they have in the backfield, and each one of them are working.
And I have to imagine that is Luke Bartell's first varsity touchdown of his career being a sophomore, so congrats to that young man as he got some pretty valuable snaps here when the game was still within reach in that first half, and now he's getting some reward for it.
Looked like some of the defenders were giving him a high five when he was running into the end zone.
Possibly some kudos as he's going against a couple underclassmen over there, and that kick's going to be blocked. So if you may or may not have seen late there, Duke Baker ran out the holder. He was still on the sideline, so I don't know if that timing was thrown off there, but that's going to be Finley Keller's first missed kick of the game.
And it's funny because on the last punt and then the last extra point, North Olmsted got great penetration and was really close on each one of those to blocking it. So it's not really shocking to see them finally get to one, and maybe that's something that they could kind of hang their hat on. They had getting something going and getting a stop in a way.
And especially for that special teams unit who we'll be honest, it's been a tough night for them, and we know that Coach Brediger will address that with his guys and his staff as they will get ready next week to take on another Southwestern Conference opponent. Check that. They're going to take on 3 to start the season.
Good luck.
That is a very tough task, and they only recently started doing that, but it will definitely get you ready for conference play in the Cleveland Western Conference.
I mean, it would be easy to say, what the heck are they doing? But then you look back to just last season. They had a tough start to their season and then ran off 5 out of the next 7. So I don't mind how they stack their schedule, and I think it could help them during conference play later on.
Well, and we talked a few minutes ago about North Ridgeville starting with a juggernaut in conference play in Avon. It's the same for North Olmsted as they will face the defending champion from the Cleveland West Conference, Buckeye, to start their conference slate. So it's definitely a tough start to the season that they'll look to improve as we go, and that's going to be Amir Silmi, and that's a guy they're going to have to rely on in these upcoming weeks as he continues to break out of some tackles. So clearly he's still going at it out there, and he's ramping up for next week.
And if there's a bright spot on their team, not just their offense but their special teams, it's really been Silmi tonight. Every time he's gotten an opportunity, it just seems like he has a different type of step and energy when he has the ball. So I really like what I see out of him. And even if the game doesn't turn out how the team would like, that's still something that's exciting to see for them. They might have found themselves a playmaker.
Yeah, and it's one thing when you're put out there and you're getting snaps in scrimmages and with the ones throughout camp, but when you go out and do it on a Friday night, it fills you with a whole other kind of confidence. So he's still in the game out there. McPherson throw it right to Stanley, who breaks out at 2 tackles. He tries to run through another, so he'll get close to a first down. And I imagine as the weeks move on and McPherson settles in a bit more, those pair walking together right now back to the huddle, Jeffries as well as Stanley, they're going to have to be pretty important this year, and possibly see McPherson almost play point guard, kind of get those guys involved.
And it seems like they have a nice setup where Stanley's the more immediate short pass guy, and then they could have Jeffries running the long routes like he did on his touchdown. They just have to get used to playing with each other and catch some rhythm.
So now Silmi will get this one, changing it up to the run, and he's going to try to follow his blockers. He'll easily get the first. Powers through a couple more as you see the shoulder pad come out there as he's just breaking off of tacklers.
Again, every time this kid gets the ball in his hands, he looks like he should have the ball in his hands. He's gaining positive yards, and that's another double-digit carry for him. I think that's his his 3rd carry of at least 10 yards or more.
Yeah, and he's gotten stronger as the game's gone on, I think. Obviously, there's been a few times that he's had to deal with that defensive line, but, hey, I think a lot of teams are going to have issues running against them. So now we're back here. 1st and 10 as Silmi will get it on an end around, so they're using him in a lot of different ways right now, and it's paying off here on this drive.
The only thing that's a bit frustrating about it is why didn't we get to this earlier? I mean, I think it became pretty clear after the first quarter this kid is explosive. Get him the ball. I think that might have changed some things in this game, but maybe they'll learn now for next week and the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely a feeling out process, and Coach Tim Brediger was upfront about that. Is he's trying to learn more about this team, and I think an important part for a lot of schools this early in the season is trying to find that identity. Like, you might have something in mind that you want to see throughout camp, but actually getting into the season and learning it, that's going to be the key.
Yeah, it's easy to look good in practice. The game is a whole different animal.
That's right, and they'll pick up another first down there. So we are 7.5 minutes to go here in this Week 1 game, and want to remind you, as we get closer to the conclusion of this one, we will have our quick post-game show, but the real action is happening back at the WOBL WDLW studios as the Spitzer Auto World in Amherst post-game show will be coming at you. John Guzik, he's going to have interviews with players, may even talk to a few of our broadcast crews that were out at games this evening, as we were in 4 stadiums tonight doing live play-by-play, and a 5th, including our Lorain County Friday Night Lights Facebook group with Richard Flowers.
Yep, you can also catch Paul Williams on that post-game show most weeks as well.
That's right. Moving forward, we expect to see and hear you there. And looks like we do have a fumble, so we're finally seeing some momentum built up. And instead, it is going to be the 21 of Marco Farrago there of North Ridgeville coming up with the fumble.
And all of these fumbles are direct result of the aggression that North Ridgeville has played with from the opening tip. I mean, it's just, that's the difference in the game. North Ridgeville is really going after it and getting it, and they've made things happen from the first quarter, and they're not stopping now.
Nice. He's getting mobbed by his teammates there. Sam gets a nice shot of that, and look at that. He's got his cape on right now, or a cloak, something like that, and they're posted up.
Is this what happens now?
They're enjoying their time this evening, as they have earned the right to do so for sure, as this was a very strong showing. Definitely a few things they'll want to clean up, but an experienced team like this, I think, knows that and will respond to it very well.
I think if I did that with 7 minutes left in the game, in my day, I'd be running laps right now on the sideline.
We'd see you going by while the game's still going. Is that what you're saying? And that's a man who's still playing with a lot of intent and purpose right now. Luke Bartell is, you don't know how many games you're going to get to spell Zach Barnhart for a full quarter. So he's taking advantage of it right now.
Hey, that is a smart kid. At the end of the year, your stats are your stats, and it doesn't matter whether you got it in the fourth quarter, first quarter, second quarter. If he's getting his moment, he should take it, and that's exactly what he's doing with that 19-yard run. Or I'm sorry, 14-yard run.
So maybe in a few years we'll be talking about him for some of our post-game awards when he's the full-time starter. And as we come closer to that conclusion of tonight's game, I never gave you where to go for that post-game show with John Guzik in our studios. We've got it on Facebook with our WOBL WDLW sports page, so you'll be able to find a live feed of it there. And you can also tune in on 107.7 FM, 1320 AM, WOBLradio.com. And then we've also got our Cool Cat side of things, WDLW, which is 1380 AM and 98.9 FM. So depending where you are in the county, just adjust your radio dial accordingly, and you'll get that post-game show hearing from players, coaches, and get a breakdown of all the scores happening around the county.
Matthew Flesher with a touch on that last play. Wasn't able to make anything happen, but another guy getting a chance in the game.
And he serves in that backup role to Dylan DeShazo this year. So, DeShazo kind of overshadowed tonight in that receiver slot role by Cole Allison. But it's a good problem to have if you have that many guys that maybe one can step up one night and then the next week, who knows who's going to do it, because you kind of lose count or you lose track of how many there are that are going to make big plays.
Exactly. And the explosiveness that Allison played with tonight, I mean, deservedly so that he kind of got more of the spotlight. He definitely earned it.
So now we're going to see the Rangers set up shop here with another handoff to Bartell. And he'll pick up a couple there on second down as we're under 4 minutes remaining on a running clock here from Rangers Stadium.
It just seems like the Rangers and North Ridgeville they have a system now where no matter who's in the backfield or who's at linebacker, you're going to get some production out of them because they're just brought up the right way, and they really are coached up very well.
Well, they definitely have the best kind of tutors in front of them with these veterans that were on last year's team, and that's, I think, a very cool thing Coach Morgan talked about in the Buckeye Community Bank Coach's Corner. I mean, he said what's helped them continue this success is when he first took over, it was about getting guys out to play, having a bit more fun, having things be upbeat. But now as they've grown in their wins and in their success as a program, it's kind of more determined about development and being a little bit harder on guys than maybe you were in year one.
For sure, and before we forget, as this game is now zipping by pretty fast, I did want to touch on the performance of Ryan Anderson on defense tonight, making the switch this season. I know you talked about it a little bit. I kept my eye on him all night at linebacker, and he didn't look like he missed a beat. He was a veteran out of there leading the defense.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to ask a high school guy to do, especially he had 4 touchdowns last year. He was a pretty nice part of that offense, and then you're asking him, well, we want you to do a little bit of dirty work, get your hands dirty, and put your nose in the defense or in the up front in the offensive line and kind of help shut down opposing teams' run games. And he, like you say, he did that perfectly tonight.
That's the buy-in you get when you have a program running the way that this North Ridgeville program is.
So we'll see a timeout there as we hit 4th down. Tell you what, we'll take a quick timeout with them as well, and we'll be right back here on the Lorain County Sports Network in the 4th quarter from North Ridgeville. Back here on the Lorain County Sports Network, deep into the 4th quarter of this ball game, and you'll have to excuse us as we were, brainstorming a little bit about who we think could win today's Zabo Apparel Company Player of the Game. As that was another beautiful punt. So you can take pride in the fact, if you're North Ridgeville, that you didn't really have to see that unit, but when you did, it looks pretty darn good.
It seems like the Rangers just keep keeping on. I mean, this was such a balanced effort from them tonight. I don't know. There's always ways to improve, and penalties to me would be the one thing for them as far as what I'd really take from this game. But, gosh, you have to feel good when you've seen it from both sides of the ball so consistently all night, delivering, and not just a few plays here or there, but consistent different guys making things happen.
So now their defensive almost entirely reserves, I imagine now, as we did see a couple starters in the previous few drives, but now it is going to be the second unit. So they get a chance under the lights here.
A lot of these guys will be the first unit in the future.
Certainly true, as they'll set up here, and we'll see a new running back in, as Silmy and Jack both definitely have earned and deserve a rest, as they'll be in the ice bath probably most of this weekend. But right there, that's going to be Drazen Blake, sophomore. That is, this is a receiver because of his size, but as we've seen, they'll use guys in a couple different ways. So he's going to probably line up at running back the remainder of the minute and a half here. So they'll send 2 receivers out left, as McPherson is out of the game as well now, and that's going to be Cam Massimiani, and he finds a nice play there to his target. Looks like that's going to be Nathan Holtz, who kind of opened up there. So I want to remind you that the Lorain County Sports Network, obviously it's just week 1, and we've got plenty more football to bring you this season. I mean, we're just 1/10 of the way there, but that also, 10%. Going by like that, it's kind of crazy to think about. But next week, you can find us with Northwestern at Black River. As last we checked, Black River was trailing, so they'll probably be looking to bounce back next week in a home game with the Northwestern Huskies. Our other stream tonight was at Midview and Westlake. They'll be going to Cloverleaf at Keystone for week 2, and Keystone, when we checked, was up 20-0 at halftime. So That looks pretty exciting there. That matchup is a nice little rivalry. And on the radio side of things, Vermilion at Firelands, the Stillman Cup. We'll see if it's as exciting as it was last year when Vermilion broke the streak of losing to the Falcons. And on WDLW, Elyria Catholic at Midview. Midview, very good night tonight. But Elyria Catholic ran into a bit of a tough spot against Bishop Hartley. We'll see how that score shakes out. But it's done shaking here. 41-0 North Ridgeville, a dominant end to week 1 for the Rangers, as we were very pleased to bring it to you here tonight. When we come back, we will get into our post-game show, which every week is brought to you by Spitzer Auto World in Amherst. At Spitzer, our world revolves around you. When we come back, we'll get into that. Name our player of the game, check out some stats, and wrap up here from North Ridgeville. We'll be back shortly on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in our post-game show on the Lorain County Sports Network. Once again, Max Drummond with you, and we are, like I said, post-game Spitzer Auto World in Amherst, bringing it to you as we cap off a night of a dominant win from North Ridgeville, 41-0 over North Olmsted. It actually took a bit of deliberation to find our Zabo Apparel player of the game, but we landed on and didn't settle. Believe me, this guy was effective. Cole Allison, the junior receiver for the Rangers, and just a quick highlight of what he did in the Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game. Paul, why was he our player of the game?
I mean, he didn't have the ball a ton, but when he got that football, he made something happen with it. 4 touches, nearly 90 yards, and a touchdown. And if you were here to see the electricity he played with, you would understand why he's our player of the game. Just an overall great performance from him, and I think it's going to earn him some extra touches as we go forward in that crowded offense.
That's right. A lot of weapons there to work with, and we kind of hinted at that he is the Charlie Steinmetz replacement, and I'd say he filled that role pretty well. So those are big shoes to step into, and he did so pretty effectively tonight. That's going to about do it for our coverage here tonight. He's going to get an amazing T-shirt from Zabo Apparel as Sam heads down there to give him that, and you'll see that on our social media page over the weekend. And I'm going to advise you to go check out what's happening around the county by tuning in to WOBL and or WDLW. You can go to their websites, or you can find their AM, FM on those websites, and you can join John Guzik in the studio as he will get some interviews with players, coaches, probably some of us, possibly one of us, for the post-game show. And, yeah, he's, I believe, going to go till at least 11, so I hope he got some good sleep. And, Paul, it was great to have you out here, man. It was an exciting week 1 for us, and can't wait to see what you do the rest of the season.
Hey, man, I know I'll be part of the post-game show the rest of the season, but it's always an honor to get out here, especially with this crew. You guys are great to work with, and we got to see a great game. North Ridgeville will be a contender this year. Mark my words. I'll talk about it every week on the post-game show. And don't sleep on North Olmsted. They had a tough start last season as well. They're bringing in a lot of new faces. It's only game 1. I don't think anyone should be too down.
Yeah, and people around here in the county, they're going to have to be familiar with them for at least 2 more weeks because Midview and Amherst are up next for them. Next week, North Ridgeville is going to take on Valley Forge in another home game. For us, we're going to be at Black River High School, as we'll head pretty far south here in the county or just out of it, and they'll take on Northwestern. So we'll be excited to bring you that. For myself, Max Drummond, for Paul Williams, for Edwin Vereen, and Sam Sovacool. It's been a great night here in North Ridgeville. So excited high school football is back. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.